for Clinton Maroon football action for another football season, the 1994 campaign. I am Larry Dooling with a new color man this year, Joe Spencer. We welcome you not only on WHOW-FM radio, but also here on Clinton Cable TV for another season. Our thanks to all the people that have made it possible both to bring you the games live here on the radio and also on the tape delay basis here on Clinton Cable TV. I am Larry Dooling. I've been with you for the last several seasons, it seems like, more than I can remember almost now. But we've got a rookie here alongside and want to introduce him to you. As I said, his name is Joe Spencer. Joe is a high school student here at Clinton High School in the junior class this year, just starting out the junior year. And he knows these guys are going to be on the football field here tonight. Joe, welcome aboard. Glad you could be alongside, and we look forward to doing the games this year with you.
Well, thank you, Larry. I'm glad to be here. I love football, and those are my buddies out there, and I hope they win. They've had the knock of being inexperienced this year, but I think it's whoever wants it most. And I think, inexperienced or not, the team that wants it most will win.
Let's talk about that. I'm wearing my sweatshirt from last year. You're wearing your Blackhawks uniform for some reason. I have no idea why, but I've got my Class 3A playoff sweatshirt. Looking back at last year and the fact that we made the playoffs for the first time last year and feeling good about that, and I'm hoping it's going to carry over to this year. But as you mentioned, this ball club lost a lot of players from last year's team that went to the playoffs. A lot of seniors that graduated, and very few back that have a lot of experience at the varsity level last year. Just maybe 3 players that really had considerable experience last year.
Yeah, they lost Matt Parson, a 1,000-yard rusher, Josh Carter, a guy that ran for over 900 yards,
right,
and they lost leading receiver Ben Nichols.
What about those guys coming back, though? We've got some good leadership, though, for this year's team, right?
Yes, we have Nate Sams coming back at quarterback. He's one of the top 50 in the area, according to the Pantograph. He threw for 882 yards last year for 8 touchdowns and rushed for 14. So I think that that's a good basis to start from.
Certainly is, and you've got a guy in the middle of the line, and David Lemmel has got good size and obviously a lot of good experience there that can show some leadership for those guys on the line, right?
Yes, he was named best of the rest in that article, and at 6'4", 230, he is easily the most experienced Maroon lineman, and he is the biggest Maroon lineman.
And, of course, Bob Igems, who was a big man in the secondary for the team last year, also just a junior like Sams. They're both just juniors this year. Got a lot of valuable experience last year as a sophomore, and he'll be leading the defense out there with his experience. So we'll see how it works out. The inexperience of the Maroons against the very experienced Olympia Spartans here tonight. We need to take a break on our pregame show, and we'll be back with more in just a moment. Midfield, 1st and 10 for the Clinton Maroons. And Sams wants to throw. He's looking for Herzog up the right sideline all the way. He's beat his man. He caught it. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Maroons! Slip backfield, one wide receiver each way. Quick pop over the middle to Nichols. He'll give it. Oh, and the lateral to Carter. Hook and ladder. Carter's at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Maroons! Maroons really need to score on this play. From the 6, Sams hands it off. Conley trying to get around the corner. He's got the speed. 5. Touchdown! TD, baby!
Clinton Maroon football brought to you by the John Warner Bank, Edward D. Jones and Company, Dave's Food Basket, Walker Tire, Allen Chiropractic, Ace Hardware, Subway, Joe Taylor, Attorney at Law, Quality Glass, Illinois Power, and the Clinton Daily Journal.
Back here at Clinton High School, the band has completed their playing of the school song, and they're making their way off the field, and both these football teams are about to set the charge out there and get this game underway. When we think about the Clinton Maroons this year, we've already talked about the fact that they are basically an inexperienced team. But as I look at this team and their talent, and of course I'm no expert, but I've watched obviously a lot of football games the last few years, but I'm not going to claim to be an expert on high school football or the Clinton Maroons necessarily. But they look like offensively they're talented enough to put some points on the board. Obviously with the leadership of Nate Sams at quarterback, you think they're going to put some points on the board. I think the bigger question is, can the defense stop the other team? And we'll be interested in seeing how the defense performs here tonight.
Definitely. I think new ends this year, Ross Wantland.
I think Ross is going to move to the center position on offense. I didn't know where he was starting on defense.
Defensive end, Ross Wantland and Brad Earl have to step up, and Jeff Wilson and J.D. Stroud at linebacker will have to step up for this team to stop opposing offenses.
Football is teed up at the 40-yard line of Olympia as they're going to kick it off to start this football game. 6'4", 230-pound senior Matt Bodeman is going to kick off this football game for the Spartans as they'll move from right to left. The Maroons in the opposite direction here as the Maroons will be moving toward the north goal. Back deep for the Maroons, their little speedster tailback, Ryan Connolly, for this year. And he'll be flanked by Bob Igems, who has good speed of his own. Those two standing deep at about the 2-yard line. A couple men up in front of them. And we'll pick them up in just a minute. Here's the kickoff, a very short kick that is fielded by one of the up men, and a nice catch over the shoulder, and then goes down as he slips on. I guess the turf is still a little bit wet out there. At about the 34-yard line, the Maroons will have it 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line of Clinton. Has a little good over-the-shoulder catch by one of the up men there, and I didn't exactly pick up who it was immediately. This is where television's going to haunt me. It's going to come back and get me then. When I watch the replay, I go, are you dummy? You should have known who that was. Pay attention. But the Maroons have the football, and that's the important thing. A seasoned quarterback, even though he's just a junior, Nate Sams, under center, gets the snap from Watland. They'll go the other direction, a little reverse motion this time, and it'll get some good yardage up to about the 40-yard line as Jamie Queer takes the handoff and gains about 5, maybe almost 6 yards on the play. They're going to spot him right about the 40-yard line, and that's a gain of about 6 yards. The Maroons will have 2nd and 4 coming up. Nice misdirection by the Maroons, and Queer made a good run on it, but he was wide open to start with.
Yes, I think that the Maroons definitely tried a little bit of trickery there, went one way and then went back the other way, and it worked well as they got 6 yards, as you said.
They line up with 3 in the backfield this time. The first man is Jeff Wilson, but there's a penalty flag as the Maroons snap the football, and I don't think that one came off too cleanly. Now, keep in mind, this is an inexperienced crew overall for the Maroons out there at the varsity level. And they're going to have to work out some kinks here early in the season. It was a procedure penalty against the Maroons, so that nullifies the gain on the first down play.
I think the left side moved. I'm not sure about that.
It'll take 5 yards off that 6-yard gain on the first play, so the Maroons will have 2nd and 9 coming up at the 35-yard line. Sams relays the play to his teammates, and they bring it up. He's got Queer and Connolly in the backfield behind Wilson. And Sams will fake it, run it option right, brushes off one tackler, breaks into the open, breaks another tackle. Good first down run all the way to midfield into the 49-yard line of Olympia. That's just the athletic ability of Nate Sams. I mean, Nate had a guy on him a couple yards deep behind the line of scrimmage, shook that guy off, then had a guy around his ankles and somehow stepped away from that and did it on his own for the first down.
That's typical Nate Sams. He made the first tackler miss, and he's going to be doing a lot of that this season, I think, and that's a good play for the Maroons right there.
16-yard gain on the play and a first down for the Maroons to the 49 of Olympia. Now Wilson will get the call up the middle, and he's got almost 10 yards, 9 yards on the play to about the 40-yard line of Olympia. And as we said, this Maroons offense, we think, is going to have the ability to move the football and put some points on the board this year. And so far, they're off to a good start with a first down and a good, I think it was about a 9-yard gain on that run by Jeff Wilson, who's a senior now. But he's played quite a bit the last 2 years, mostly in a reserve role, but he's got some experience.
I noticed they ran on the big right side of the line, and they got huge yardage.
From the I formation, he gets the call again, but he's met behind the line of scrimmage and buried, and that's the guy who kicked off the football game, Matt Bodeman, the 6'4", 230-pound senior, nailed him behind the line of scrimmage and dropped him for a 3-yard loss. So a loss on the play for the Maroons will bring up a 3rd down, and now about, well, almost 5 for the first down. The Maroons have to get it to the 39-yard line of Olympia for another first down.
Yeah, Bodeman joins Botsworth in making a very big defensive line for the Olympia Spartans team.
Sams has him up to the line of scrimmage. We're a little over 2 minutes into the ball game. No score. Maroons have the football first in this ball game, and Ryan Connolly with the run. He's dropped about a yard short of the first down as he was knocked around, and I was watching to see if he'd hang on to that football, and he did a good job protecting the football as they were trying to knock it out of his hands. He stopped about a yard short of the first down. Maroons are at the 40 of Olympia, and I don't think they're going to punt here. They're going to go for it.
That's definitely, I'm
sorry, go ahead, that's
Larry.
all right.
That's definitely a big key for the Maroons this year is trying not to fumble the ball. Turnovers is a big part of this game, and if they are in the plus side of the turnover game, they should win a lot of ball games this year.
Officials timeout. I think one of the Olympia players has a helmet problem, so they're tending to that. Maroons have 2 wide receivers on this play, split each way. Lance Taylor in there, wide to the left side. The 160-pound senior, and Jamie Queer, I believe it is wide to the right side. Split backfield behind Sams. He drew him offsides. That's all they needed for the first down. Jumping here on the near side of the football field, lined up at the left end for Olympia, was Travis Turpak. He's a senior, and I would think one of their more experienced guys, but Nate with the Catons was able to draw him offsides for the automatic first down.
Once again, he's only a junior, but he's played 1 year at quarterback, and he showed his veteran abilities there as he used the hard count and got the guy offsides.
Tell you what, he showed that early last season as a sophomore, though. Here's Nate on the option to the left, breaks it upfield. Broke one tackle, but then was nailed around the ankles by Pat Simmons, a 6 foot, 205-pound senior for Olympia, but not until Nate picked up about almost 6 yards on the play. He's inside the 30-yard line to almost the 29. Second and a long 4 coming up for Clinton.
Once again, I think they ran behind Dave and Casey Hicks over there on that right side, and it's paying off as long as they can keep doing that, as ripping off 6 yards at a time on a running play is very good.
Ryan Schumacher's in and wide out to the right side. Maroons will run up the middle. Wilson, not much gain on that one. They bottled him up and knocked him down. Again, Pat Simmons leading the charge. We'll see if he got any gain at all on that play. It'll bring up a 3rd down for the Maroons, and no gain on the play, it looks like. 3rd down, and still almost 5 yards, 4 to 5 yards to go for the 1st down. We're down to about 8:20 to go in the first quarter of play. Clinton took the opening kickoff, started the drive at their own 34-yard line. They're now at about that point in Olympia territory, and they'd like to get a 1st down here to keep it alive. One right receiver to the right side this time, and that's Bob Igems, and the Maroons will run it right with Nate Sams keeping the football, and he's very close to a 1st down. We'll have to see what kind of spot the official gives him, and I don't think he's going to get quite the spot he needed to get the 1st down. So it'll be 4th and short again. 4th down and less than a yard, and you can bet Olympia's not going to jump off sides this time if they are smart out there. The officials are going to stop the clock and take a measurement, I believe, though.
Okay.
We'll wait and see how that comes out. Go ahead.
Definitely. I think the Maroons are doing a good balanced attack in the running game. They're running both sides and picking up some yardage either side. And most people are asking questions about this line. I think they're starting to get answered.
Nate Sams has already carried the ball, at least 3 times so far in this ball game. So obviously, Nate running the ball on the option will be a big part of the offense this year. No surprise about that, though. When you got a guy with his ability and talent, yeah, you expect to see him carry the football. But we also expect to see him throw it some, and so far the Maroons haven't put the ball in the air. I don't think they will here, though.
No,
I'd be shocked. Although, it would be an interesting call. See if you can catch him napping, expecting that short yardage attempted run here for a 1st down and pop it over the top for something. But I would highly doubt it here this early in the season.
Yeah, he's already rushed for 25 yards.
You never know with Brian Knutson what he might call there, the offensive coach for the Maroons, or the guy that calls those plays. Jamie Queer is wide to the right side, split backfield behind Sam's quarterback keeper, big strong guy. I don't know if he got it. He was really bottled up. And again, it's going to depend upon the spot. I thought he might have had enough initial push, but they really shoved him back. And oh, this is going to be really close. Really close. The fans in front of us don't like the spot the officials gave him. And again, they're measuring.
A big part of football is the line, so I'm sorry, Larry. But
hey, that's all right. You're a rookie, you know, and you're wearing a Blackhawks uniform, so it's all right.
But you can clearly see it's not good for Clinton when the Olympia line has collapsed the pocket, and they just simply cream the running back in the middle as they got a good push forward, and that might have stopped the Maroons from getting a 1st down.
I think they're going to be just a little short, but I hope I'm wrong. They are. They're just inches short. For those of you watching the replay on TV, you could see that clearly. I don't know. I don't remember too many times Nate Sams stopped on a quarterback sneak for a 1st down in a situation like that last year, but the middle of the Olympia defense did the job. So now Olympia will get the ball for the 1st time on offense in this ball game. We're at the 7:43 mark in the 1st quarter. No score in this ball game. The Maroons' opening drive stopped at the Olympia 25-yard line. So Olympia will start from their own 25. Their quarterback, at least the one that we're expecting to snap the ball or take the ball from center, is Jason Worster, and he is in there. Worster is a 6 foot, 165-pound senior. Long count on 1st down. He'll give it to the tailback. They'll try the right side, and not too much running room there. The Maroons' left side of the line does a pretty good job and knocks down Bryce Hoffman, who is one of their top ball carriers. Hoffman is a 190-pound senior, and he might have got a yard on the play, maybe a yard and a half or so. I like the way the Maroons' defensive line, again, an inexperienced group overall, swarm that one under. And the linebackers, you know, the Maroons have a good tradition of linebackers. Those guys coming up and helping out very nicely also. Wilson, one of those. And, of course, the other LB is J.D. Stroud, who's a junior and was hurt last year, but coming off that injury, and they're expecting good things out of him. Yeah, the line collapsed well on that play and filled the holes that Olympia tried to create. Worster on 2nd down. Will he keep it? He hands off to the fullback, and he's knocked down right at the line of scrimmage again. No gain, and the Clinton fans in front of us like that. They gave it this time to the up man, Scott Wells. He's a 5'8", 175-pound senior, and he might have got another half yard. They've got 3rd down and 8 now coming up for Olympia as we're inside 6.5 minutes to go in the 1st quarter play. Again, no score in case you're just joining us as the Maroons open the season here at home against the Olympia Spartans. And Olympia's first possession so far, not going too far. If you ask me, I don't think that this defense looks very
inexperienced to me. I think that they're filling the holes well against these Olympia running backs.
That's true, but we have only 2 plays so far into the season. We'll see how it works out for the long run. Good pressure on the quarterback. Worcester's going to get the throw away, though, and it's knocked down. Nice defensive play. He had a man open temporarily, but hustling all the way across the field and knocking that pass down for the Maroons was Randy Rich. Randy got there just in a nick of time, and it would have been a first down if the receiver had been able to catch that ball. But Rich stuck out his hand as far as he could on that far sideline, deflected the ball into the Olympia bench for an incomplete pass.
I love to see that. That's nice hustle by Randy coming from all the way on the other side of the field. And if he plays very well, then this secondary is going to be nice for the Maroons defense.
Jeff Anderson with the kick for Olympia. Not a real high kick, end over end. It's going to bounce and take a Clinton bounce close to midfield, and the Maroons won't touch that football, hopefully, and they don't. Olympia downs it at the 48-yard line. So Clinton will have it at their own 48-yard line on their second possession here. Well, the defense looked good, as you said. The first 2 running plays, the Maroons knocked down, only 2 yards gain. And then a great defensive play by Randy Rich after some good pressure on the quarterback. And I don't know if you picked up, I didn't exactly who came through the middle there and put that pressure on the quarterback. That did make Worcester have to roll out and hurry his throw a little bit. And although he made a pretty good throw, if Rich hadn't been there, that would have been a completion.
Yeah, he has the ability to go deep, and I thought it might have been end Ross Wantland. I'm not sure, but it looked like it could have been.
Well, we'll pick up on these numbers as the season progresses here. We've got a timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout also. 5:50 to go in the first quarter play. There's no score. Back with more in a moment.
It's 1:47 on a Thursday afternoon, and you need to get to the bank. Why worry? The John Warner Bank lobby is open until 3 p.m. every day during the week, including Thursday afternoons. And for those of you who find 3 a little early and need to see us before our Friday and Saturday weekend hours, our drive up is there for you every Monday through Friday evening until 6 p.m.
Wilson gets the call on the first down play, and he's got first down yardage, a gain of 13 yards right off the bat for the Maroons into Olympia territory. Back to action here with those of you joining us on radio also in the Maroons. A good first down play as Jeff Wilson got the call, tried the left side of the line, found a nice hole there by the Maroons offensive line and picked up 13 yards. They're going to mark it at about the 38-yard line of Olympia, and the Maroons are up and rolling on offense again. They haven't scored yet, but they're moving the football well.
Once again, they ran behind Dave Lummel and Casey Hicks on that right side, and they got a big hunky yardage as they set good blocks.
Igens in there wide to the right side. Sams may throw the first pass of the year. He's going for Igens, and he can't quite get to it, but there's a flag on the play.
Yes! All right.
The ball was underthrown by Sams, and Igens trying to reach back for it. He was defended closely on the play by Olympia's Sean Grant, and Grant had his back to the ball, and he interfered with Sams and gets the flag from the official. So that penalty will be from the line of scrimmage and give the Maroons a first down. Unlike the NFL, they won't get the ball down there near the 12-yard line where the infraction took place or where the flag was thrown. But still, this will move the Maroons much deeper into Olympia territory and give them a first down. This will be a 15-yarder from the 38-yard line. So the Maroons should be near the 23-yard line, although I see one official standing near the 24. The guy marking it off, though, is with me on it. About the 23-yard line of Olympia. First and 10 for the Maroons. Nate got a little lucky there, though. Yeah. If the defender on the play, Sean Grant, had turned around and looked back, he might have had a chance to pick that one off, but he didn't look back in time.
That ball hung up in the air. The Olympia fans don't have a gripe, as that was clearly interference, though.
Sams is going to hand it off on first down. He tries Connolly, who hurdles a couple men at the line of scrimmage. Stays on the speed, breaks out of the pack. He's at the 15.
Go,
10,
go,
5,
go.
Touchdown,
Yes.
Maroons.
Yes.
A 23-yard run for Ryan Connolly. He looked like he was down at the line of scrimmage or just beyond, and somehow he burst out of the pack, and with his speed, he runs it into the end zone for a touchdown, and the Maroons are on the board first in this ball game. They lead 6-0. And young man, you're enthusiastic beside me here. Calm down a little bit.
Oh, I just love that play, as Connolly looked like he was down, and he kept working his butt off, and he ripped off 23 yards for the score. Very exciting.
All right, the score comes with 5:08 to go in the first quarter play. The kick for the extra point. Carl Courts is on. It's definitely long enough, but is it through the uprights? Yes, it is. Carl's got a leg on him. He can kick it from a long distance. An extra point is just a little easy chip shot for him. All right, we'll take timeout on the field. 5:08 to go in the first quarter play, and the score, the Clinton Maroons 7, the Olympia Spartans nothing. Back with more in a moment. and more people are shopping Dave's Food Basket. Let's ask our customers why.
It's easy to get to, the prices are good, the clerks are all friendly, and it's a clean store, and I like the prices.
They have double coupons every day, so it doesn't matter when you get groceries.
It's a nice, friendly, clean store.
Very courteous. I'm well pleased.
I think your produce department is wonderful, and the frozen food is really great for me.
There you have it. More good reasons to shop Dave's Food Basket. A nifty run by Ryan Connolly of 23 yards. Ryan went into the right side of the line. He hurdled somebody at the line of scrimmage. Then he ran into a crowd of white shirts and maroon shirts for that matter. And it looked like the play was going to be stopped. And I'm sure the Olympia players were waiting for a whistle. But then all of a sudden he popped out of there and he was off to the races. Man, he ran away from people. Here's Carl Kortz with his first kickoff of the season from the Maroons' 40-yard line. And a good boot, a deep kick that'll be taken at about the 9-yard line. And we'll see what kind of run back Olympia gets to the 25. A little seam up the middle and then caught from behind and knocked down. They'll have good field position at about the 35-yard line after the turn by Nick Shade. He's a 5'10", 145-pound senior. And he was caught from behind and tackled by Brad Earl, it looked like, who made the tackle. And I think we talked about that play where there was pressure on the quarterback. I think it was Brad Earl because I think I saw 64 that was given the quarterback chase on that last possession by Olympia. Well, let's get back to that touchdown run by Ryan Connolly. I mean, we knew he had quickness, but he really showed it on that run, didn't he?
Yes, it looked like he was tackled, as you said, at the line. All of a sudden, he broke free, and he just sprinted by everyone easily into this touchdown.
All right, so it's 7-0 in favor of the Maroons. Here's Olympia. 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. They'll try the right side of the line, and a gain of about 4 yards on the play. Falling forward with the football is Bryce Hoffman. Wilson in to help out on the tackle after that. Well, maybe only about a 3-yard gain, between 3 and 4. Second, and we'll say 2nd and 6 coming up for the Spartans. We're down to 4:27, clock ready to go in the first quarter of play. The Maroons have just put the first points of the season on the board here in this opening game. And now Olympia will try to come back.
The Maroons D held the Olympia to a 3-yard first drive, and I hope they can do about the same this time.
Backfield is split. Hoffman lines up to the right of his teammate in the backfield. Here's the short pass. That'll be caught, spinning away, staying on his feet, and getting close to first down yardage on the catch. We'll check who it is exactly on the far side of the field. We didn't pick it up immediately. Anderson was the man who made the catch. Jeff Anderson on the pass from Worcester, and after some good running, he picked up an additional 4 yards or so to get the first down, just enough for the first down out to about the Olympia 45-yard line. Not a real safe pass, not a real big risk there by Olympia. They made sure they got the completion, and then Anderson with some spinning moves got the first down yardage.
Yes, Anderson looked very good. He broke the initial tackler, and he picked up some good extra yardage. He looked very good on that play for Olympia.
He comes wide to the left side this time. They send the tight end in motion. He'll line up on the right side now, and they've got Nick Shade wide to the right side. I formation backfield, and the quarterback will keep it on the option right and get about 6 yards on the play. Worcester gets it across midfield, and he's to about the 49, maybe almost the 48-yard line of the Maroons. So Olympia on their second possession, mounting a little bit of a drive here. They've got it into Maroon territory for the first time in the evening here with 3:22 to go in the first quarter of play.
Good blocks on the right side really keyed that play.
Olympia's got some good size. I don't think there's any doubt when you look up and down their roster. They've got the bigger team when you match them up man for man out there.
Bunch of them over 6 foot and 230 plus.
We don't have that many that are over 200 pounds on our team. Some of our linemen are only in the 170, 180, 190-pound range. Worcester is dropped for a loss on a play, and I'm sure that's David Lemmel, the 6'3", at least 215-pound senior, experienced lineman, came through there like there was nobody trying to block him and immediately grabbed Worcester as he was trying the option left, and before he could even take more than 2 steps, had him wrapped up and threw him to the ground for about a 3-yard loss on the play. It'll bring up 3rd down and at least 8, almost 9 yards for a first down.
He went through that line very well. I didn't even think he was blocked. I think he went untouched just about.
Well, his man was brushed aside so quickly that maybe he wasn't. I don't know. David's a pretty quick guy for a big guy. He can come off that ball pretty quickly, and that's what the Maroons need out of him this year, his senior year. Worcester dropping back to pass under deep pressure, has to throw it into the ground. Again, it was Lemmel bearing down on Worcester, and he forced the quarterback Worcester to throw that pass for the short man out of the backfield into the ground and incomplete. And again, the Maroons' defensive pressure forcing the incomplete pass.
Well, Worcester having nightmares there is Lemmel. Back-to-back plays. Just
oh, yeah.
Good pocket breaking there.
That big maroon and white 75 coming at him like a freight train. You know, not only has David got some weight on him, although he's not huge at 215 or whatever he weighs, they list him at 215, but he's tall. He's 6'3", 6'4 in height. End-over-end kick by Olympia, and it's going to bounce by Bob Igems. That was kind of a risk. No, I don't think he did. Now, they're going to rule it. Ball down right there at about the 13-yard line. Igems coming up, wanted to make the catch, but it dove right at his feet, and he didn't want to take a chance on bobbling that ball and coughing it up. The Maroons are well coached to staying away from turnovers, and he let it bounce by, and of course it took a big Olympia bounce, and so the Maroons will start pretty deep this time on offense at about their own 13-yard line. But that's an experienced player, even though he's just a junior, using his head out there, not taking a chance and coughing up the football.
Once again, the defense has just looked awesome. That second drive, they stopped them cold after an initial good-looking play.
Quick pitch right. It'll be Conley. He's got an opening, breaks it upfield, and takes a hard hit and goes down about the 25-yard line, but that should be enough for a first down. Ryan's not real big in size. As a matter of fact, they've got him listed as about, well, 5'11". I didn't realize he was that tall, 165 pounds. He's apparently worked out with the weights, though. He's put some weight on, and he's added some strength, obviously, to his body, and that's prepared him well for his senior year.
He's a track guy by trade. He's very fast, but as you said, he went and worked his butt off in the weight room, and I hope he plays well this year.
Gain of about 12 yards and a first down for the Maroons at the 25-yard line. Maroons with another opening. Nate Sams on the option. He's got another first down and a good 15 yards on that play. I tell you, when the Maroons can run the option like this, it's very difficult for the defense to know for sure who's got the football. Now they're worrying about 9. Now they're worrying about number 33, and they've also got to worry about 31. And, you know, it's very difficult for a defense to defend an option run as well as it is by a quarterback like Nate Sams. At that time, Nate kept the football and picked up a good 15 yards on the play. And quickly, the Maroons are from their own 13 out to about their own 42-yard line and their second first down of this drive. We're down to about 1:20 to go before the end of this first quarter. And Wilson's got a big opening up the middle. He's got first down yardage, still on his feet. Hang on to that football, and he does so. He's all the way to the 40-yard line of Olympia. I tell you what, I'll be honest with you. I figured this team would move the football some, but I didn't realize, at least I know it's very early in the ball game, they would move it this easily. They are really churning up some yardage in this football game, as he picked up about 17 yards on that play.
That was just a quick trap, and he shredded the defense like a knife through hot butter there. He just went...
What are you, a king? You a king of the cliche or what here? I don't know. 18-yard gain, I think, is what it was on the play. I don't know if you're able to keep up with these stats or not, because I know the action is coming at us hot and heavy. How's that for a cliche? Coming right back at you. We're down to 1:08 to go in the first quarter play. We got an official's timeout on the field for a moment. Again, I think another equipment problem. But the Maroons have already moved to the 40-yard line of Olympia on this, their third drive of the ball game. Their first drive stalled. On a fourth down and short, a quarterback keeper was stopped by Olympia, but they scored on their second drive on a 23-yard run by Ryan Conley. Now they're at the 40 on their third drive. Option right. Sam still with the football. Keeps it. A flag on the play. He's got good yardage, but this one may come back. He's all the way down to the 21-yard line, but there was a flag thrown in the vicinity of where Jeff Wilson threw a block, and I'm not pinning the penalty necessarily on Jeff, but he's standing in that area, and so is David Lemmel for that matter, where that flag was thrown, and it is a penalty coming up against the Maroons, apparently a holding call. Chuck Nagel out there checking with the official, and then he applauds the effort by his Maroons and does not argue with the official one bit. This play will come back.
That's a tough play. It was obviously a hold, but you never like to see that because it was such a good run.
I hate to see a gain of almost 20 yards come back, but the Maroons are showing almost effortlessly that they can move the football down the football field, at least here in the early going of this football game. Clinton only leads, though, 7-0, as we said, on that 23-yard touchdown run by Ryan Conley. The extra point kick good by Carl Kortz.
Yeah, maybe we'll, with a first and almost 20 here.
They marked it off from where the penalty took place, which was about 3 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, so it'll be first and 17, and Sams is back to pass.
Maybe we'll see
looking for a short man. He's got him. I think it's Earl who makes the catch, and he'll gain about 3 or 4 yards again. Broke a couple of tackles. The Maroons, so far in the early going, look like the stronger team. I mean, they are breaking tackles. Olympia not very strong on their tackling, and he slipped out of an attempted arm tackle by Nick Shade there and got a couple of additional yards, a gain of about, well, let's see, about 8 yards on the play, 2nd and 9 coming up for the Maroons. And we have maybe time for one more play before the end of the first quarter. Clock down to about 12 seconds to go, and it's running.
He looked very good on that play as he just broke through another tackler once again. And that's the way not to tell him that you can't tackle me with one arm. You have to tackle me with body.
It was Ryan Schumacher. I need to be corrected on my uniform numbers, not Brad Earl, as Brad has been moved to a lineman's number. Ryan Conley with the last carry of the first quarter. He gained about 3 more yards, so the Maroons will have a third down and about 6 coming up in Olympia territory when we come back after this commercial break. The Clinton fans are on their feet saluting this young football team. Off to a great start. At the end of the first quarter play, Clinton leads 7-0.
The Warm Neighbors Fund pays heating bills for people in need. It also weatherizes homes, which helps reduce future heating bills. Warm Neighbors is administered by the Energy Assistance Foundation, a nonprofit organization formed in 1982 with a $250,000 donation from Illinois Power. Last year alone, your contributions and major funding from Illinois Power provided warmth for over 2,000 families.
Getting ready for the second quarter play. We'll flip-flop ends of the field, and the Maroons will be moving toward the south goal now. And they'll be at the 35-yard line, just short of the 35, with a 3rd down and 6 call coming up as we get ready to start the second 12-minute period of this opening football game of the 1994 season. And what a great start it's been. I wish we had a few more points on the board to show for it, but certainly we can be awfully optimistic about the way this football team's looking so far after 1 quarter of play.
Yes, 4 first downs to none, I believe, for Clinton, and that's showing that they're not very unexperienced as much people might think, and Olympia doesn't have any, so the defense is shutting them down.
Well, I'm sure they got along talking to. Olympia did on the far side of the football field from their coaching staff and head coach Ron Smith, at least as much as he could during about that 1-minute break over there, trying to encourage his defense to shut down this attack by the Clinton Maroons.
I think this is very good strategy by Coach Nagel by keeping it on the ground. It's eating away clock, and with the lead, that's always important.
And obviously a little bit safer way to go, not putting that ball up in the air and taking a chance on it being picked off. And Nate Sam's one throw was underthrown, but they did get a penalty call on it. Sam's on the option. They got him pretty well covered. Oh, that looked like a forward lateral. He got it to Conley. Will it stand up? No penalty flag on the play. And he's got a first down inside the 20-yard line. Sam's at the last second made the pitch, but man, that looked like that was a forward lateral. And look at, we can see, as we're looking across the football, I think that's Ron Smith. At least one of the coaches on the far side of the football field is letting one of the linesmen on the far side of the field have it a little bit. He's saying, hey, wait a second. You can't do that. You cannot throw the ball forward like that. And the official now is signaling over to the bench and letting him know, hey, that was a legal lateral.
Yeah, that was...
I don't know, or do we count that as a complete pass?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't know. Anyway, the play stands, and it's inside the 20 to the 18-yard line. There's a fumble, ball loose on the ground, and there's a penalty flag on the play also. But Wilson lost the handoff from Sams, and I'm not sure who's got the football yet. Olympia has recovered the football, and there is no flag on the play. I think that official was just throwing it as a marker to mark where the ball sprung loose. And Olympia has recovered the football. They have come up with the fumble on the missed exchange between Sams and Wilson. So I guess the Olympia coaching staff, at least for the moment, can forget about what they thought should have been an illegal option shuttle pass or a lateral, whatever you want to call it.
I think
maybe it was legal because they counted it as a forward pass. But anyway, Maroons cough it up on the fumble, and Olympia gets the football.
I think the Maroons might have got away with one there. It looked like he threw it, and the running back was past him, but it's legal, so we'll take it.
Yeah, the official said it was legal, but Olympia gets the turnover. First turnover of the night by the Maroons, and at their own 17-yard line. They'll try to run it, and they just got the handoff in a nick of time, and they'll get a couple of yards on a play. But, man, Worcester just barely got the ball in the hands of his running back on that one before Hoffman was stopped on the play. This guy's carried 3 or 4 times in this ball game, but he hasn't had too much running room, Bryce Hoffman, and he got about maybe almost 3 on that play. Now we'll call it just 2. 2nd and 8. I love doing that, too. You write down 3, then I say, oh, let's make it 2. I'm messing with you, Joe.
That's okay. I can handle it.
Well, you know, you're the new guy on the block here, and I'm testing you a little bit.
Wantland made a good tackle on that play.
Split backfield, 1 wide receiver each way for Olympia on the 2nd down and 4. Worcester again will spin and hand it off right in the middle, and still staying on his feet. I believe it's Hoffman again. He's hard to pick out of all those maroon shirts that had got him surrounded, but it was. And last man off the pile for the Maroons that time in the middle of that group was J.D. Stroud, one of the linebackers this year. I tell you, we had a heck of a linebacker core last year. It's going to be tough to replace guys like Parson and Helton and those guys that covered that position or those positions last year. But these guys are very capable, Wilson and Stroud, aren't they?
Yes. College is inevitable for players. They're going to graduate, but I think these guys are capable of putting up big numbers for the Maroons this year. 3rd
and about 5 coming up for Olympia. This is a big play for the Spartans to see if their offense can move it out of the hole a little bit and get a first down. They've really struggled to get those first downs against the Maroons here in the early going. We're early in the 2nd quarter of play. He's going to pass. Oh, and the receiver's knocked down on the play, got tangled up, and there will be a flag on the play. The pass had just been released, and it was intended for the tight end on the play, Matt Bodeman, and he got tangled up, I believe, with the Maroons Brad Earl, who was covering on the play. And Brad inadvertently knocked him down, so is this really a penalty or not? At least the officials saw it that way, and they are going to call him for pass interference, and that'll be an automatic first down.
Yeah, Wilson pressured the quarterback that time, and that's why he threw the ball away. It was just really unfortunate that the receiver was knocked down and the penalty occurred.
I don't know. That's an interesting call. The ball had just been released, and obviously he was going to be the only man in the area, but the ball was well over his head. I'm not even sure it would have been catchable if he had stayed on his feet, but in the official's opinion, he did have a shot at the football if he had not been knocked down on the play by a Clinton defender, and so therefore it's a penalty, and it's a 15-yard walk-off or whatever. It's early in the season.
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with terminology, although I've forgotten about baseball a long time ago since they went on strike. Out to the 39-yard line in Olympia territory, the Spartans, I formation. Worcester. He'll keep it. No, excuse me. He did hand off to the man up the middle, and did the ball come loose or not? Boy.
Hopefully it did.
Tough block out front. But no, Olympia still has the football. Then I took my eye off things because I saw a real block out front by Olympia's Brian Butteroff, I believe you pronounce it. He's one of their experienced guys, and he just leveled one of our secondary guys right in front of where the tackle was made. There was a gain of about 5 yards or 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, that guy has bell ringing right now. That was just a hard hit by the lineman. 2nd
and 6 coming up for Olympia as they approach midfield. They're now to their own 44-yard line, their best drive of the night, but it was aided by a penalty. They sent a man in motion from right to left. Worcester will hand it off. Hoffman gets the call, finds an opening up the middle, breaks into the clear, breaks another tackle in the secondary, and he's into Clinton territory to the 40-yard line, and now the Spartans starting to get the ball moving just a little bit.
Yeah, that big line, I think, is wearing down the Maroons a little bit right now, and they're getting big gains as that was just a quick trap up the middle, I believe.
Well, that was a big third down play a little bit ago, and the Spartans chose to try to throw the football, and Clinton was called for the pass interference penalty, and since that time, they've had a run for about 5 yards, and then this first down run. Jeff Wilson, with the heat and the humidity, is suffering from leg cramps right now. He is trying to straighten out that leg and fight off the leg cramps. He doesn't want to come out of there, but now they have to stop the play for a moment. The officials call for the trainer, and he's out there on the field, and we might have to get a reserve linebacker in there.
Hopefully it's nothing more than just cramps, as you said.
Yeah, I think it is.
And this is kind of unfortunate because the Maroons were playing very good defense up to this point.
They're going to get some more youth in there as Josh Wilson runs into the football game. He's a 6-foot, 175-pound sophomore, and he's going to check in there at that other linebacker spot at least for one play, while Jeff Wilson, after the stoppage of play, has to come off the field. He's going to jog off under his own power, try to run off those leg cramps a little bit. They brought him a water bottle to get some fluids into his body because that will help. And hopefully he'll be able to get in there after only a short rest. We're down to 9:18 to go in the second quarter of play. Clinton leads 7-0, and they have dominated this ball game until this drive by Olympia, which is now at the Maroon 39-yard line. The defense has held Olympia down until these last couple of first downs. And the offense has moved the ball, however, only put one touchdown on the board. But they had opportunities to score 3 times in this ball game and only put one touchdown on the board. From the eye, now they split the backfield as Hoffman moves alongside his fellow running back of the backfield. Worcester's going to drop straight back and look to throw. Under a little pressure, loops it downfield. They got a man open, but deflected away, and Ryan Schumacher breaks it up near the 5-yard line. Ryan Schumacher with the height advantage defensively on Jeff Anderson of a couple of inches. Even though Anderson has slipped behind him, Ryan was able to stay close enough, and the ball was underthrown just a little bit. That helped, but Ryan got the arm up and knocked it away to make it incomplete.
Yes, if that ball isn't underthrown, I feel that Schumacher might have been looking at a guy in the end zone as he had him beat by a good yard, I think, or two.
Yeah, if Worcester had been able to lead him a little bit more and get his receiver to run underneath that football, that could have been 6, no doubt about it. Out of the I formation on 2nd and 10. Worcester, a delayed handoff. Hoffman, he's got an opening, though, up the middle, met by Igems, but not till a gain of about 8 yards on the play. They had a big hole in the left side of the line that time, and good yardage for Hoffman, and they'll have 3rd down and about 2 coming up as they pushed it down to about the 32-yard line of Clinton now.
Once again, Hoffman just pounding away, and that was a good couple blocks set on that right side, and he just ran through a couple of arm tackles until he was eventually tackled.
A lot of time to go in this first half of play. Clinton is leading by a score of 7-0, but we're down to about 8:25. The clock's running to go in quarter number 2. In Olympia with a drive at the 32-yard line of Clinton. As we said, about a 3rd down and 2, maybe almost 3rd down and 3 coming up. Out of the I formation again, Worcester will try Hoffman again. Bottled up, breaks a couple of tackles, though. Good hard running, and he looks like he has the first down as he falls forward.
He's got it. I think.
Yeah, he's got the spot, and he's got the first down by an extra yard or so. They got about 4 on the play to the 28 of the Maroons. He made good second and third effort on that before Wes Graves had to come up from a secondary spot to finally put him down. And a first down for Olympia. They continue this drive now at the 28 of the Maroons.
He was a little bit like a rubber man there. He bounced off a few guys, and then Wes stuck him after about a 4-yard gain, as you said.
He's a big rubber man, though, 6'1", 190 pounds, and he looks bigger than that. He looks taller than that to me when he lines up out there and when he carries that football. Worcester with a long call. Now has the football. He's under a lot of pressure. Level's got him and swings him down. They can't seem to get away from that center quick enough to run away from David Lemmel. He hesitates just a little bit when he gets that football, and David's able to fly by the blocker for Olympia and grab a hold of him and just swing him to the ground like a little rag doll and drop him for a 3-yard loss.
The guy blocking Dave is smoking right now as he went through there like a freight train, and once again Worcester was ending up with his face seeing green.
You think his uniform has got a little smoke coming from it? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Because David poured through there so quickly.
His helmet's steaming.
By the way, Jeff Wilson is back in there. He was only out for a very short period of time, and he's back in there. Now the officials call time before the snap of the football in the 2nd down and 12 play, or 2nd down and 13, let's call it. And apparently the center wasn't happy with the condition of the football, so they're going to wipe it off a little bit. It is a humid night, and of course we had rainfall earlier today, and I imagine that field might still be a bit damp. Hasn't affected the game too much, though.
That's Dave's 2nd sack for negative 6 yards.
Roll out right by Worcester, looking downfield, fairly deep, got a big target, but threw it behind him. He had the tight end open at about the 18-yard line, or just inside the 20, and Matt Bodeman, but he threw it behind him. Bodeman with his long arm tried to reach back and pull it in, but couldn't get the hand on it, and it goes incomplete. Thankfully for the Maroons, that guy would have been a ton to try to tackle if he had caught that football and started rambling with it.
He found a hole, and somehow he was that wide open, and it was just a bad pass that saved the Maroons there as Worcester threw that ball like it was a lame duck, I think. It just went the wrong way.
Under 7 minutes ago in the first half. Clinton still up 7-0, and Olympia's drive, will it stall here? 3rd down and 13. They may take a couple cracks at it this deep in Maroon territory as they're down at about the 33-yard line of Clinton. Worcester now with split backfield will drop straight back. A throwing situation. Has time, throws over the middle, got a man. Completion made about the 15-yard line, and very close to a first down as the tackle made immediately by the Maroons' Ryan Schumacher on Jeff Anderson. But did they give him forward progress for the first down? They did. He knew exactly how far he had to go to get the first down. He made the catch there. Schumacher made a nice sure tackle on the play after the catch, but that was a good throw and catch on the part of Olympia for a first down at the 18-yard line.
Yeah, that's Anderson's 2nd catch for 23 yards right now. He found a way to get to that ball as he was guarded closely for a while there.
18-yard line. The Maroons shuttle some players in and out of the lineup to try to get some fresh bodies in there. Maybe this is more of a goal line defense. I'm not sure what the game plan is by Chuck Nagel here, but he has shuttled some players in and out. They've got 2 wide receivers to the left side. Now one comes in motion, coming toward the right side of the field. Shade goes behind the quarterback. They'll hand it off and try the first man through up the middle. And let's see how much yardage he got in the play. About 3 or 4 yards as they unravel there. The ball carrier that time, for one of the first times of the ball game, is Sean Grant. I think about his 2nd carry of the game. Maybe only his 1st carry of the ball game. He got about 3 yards on the play. 2nd and 7 from near the 15-yard line, just inside the 15 for the Spartans. Still a lot of time, though. We're only halfway through the 2nd quarter of play, so they have plenty of time to try to put it in the end zone here.
Yeah, Grant was met well by the linebackers of the Maroons. That's showing that they weren't blocked off the ball, and they did a good job.
Worcester now with the long call again, with the I formation behind him on 2nd and 3. Will turn, spin to his right side, keeps the football on the option, still on his feet. He's going to go in for the touchdown, and Olympia's within 1 point. The Maroons didn't read that very well. He ran it just like Nate Sams runs it for the Maroons, and nobody touched him. He had a big hole, and I guess everybody was covering the tailback or looking for someone else because he went in untouched from about 15 yards out. And Olympia's within 1, as we said, 7-6, extra point coming up.
That's just what I was about to say. I think the Maroons thought the tailback had the ball, and he went in untouched, as you said. He's just cruising in there, and nobody was in the area code with him there. He just ran through.
Extra point coming up, and they're going to try the kick also, or at least make it appear that way. Worcester will be the holder on the play. And this one to try to tie it up. A low snap, but they got it placed. The kick looks pretty good from here, and it is good. And we're tied at 7 apiece as that kick through there by, I believe it was Mike McKee. We'll take time out on the field. 5:41 to go before halftime. We're all tied up. Clinton and Olympia tied at 7 apiece.
The Clinton Daily Journal brings hometown news to you Monday through Friday. If you haven't tried the Journal lately, pick up a copy and discover city council and school board news, who, what, where, and when, Farm Bureau, YMCA, and library features, up-to-the-minute sports coverage, high-impact classified ads, business and service guides, and much, much more. Call today, 935-3171, to subscribe to your hometown news. Pain pills are a common thing with people who feel they have no place left to turn. Pills for your backaches, for that headache, pills for your sinuses. You've been to your doctor. He doesn't know what else to do, so you keep on taking pills. But pills don't have to be a part of your life, and neither does pain. Your backache or headache can be relieved without surgery and without drugs. At the Allen Chiropractic Health Clinic in Clinton, Dr. Harold Allen will diagnose the cause of your pain, and once you find the cause, you can usually find the cure. Pain is not normal. Something can be done about it. Call the Allen Chiropractic Health Clinic at 935-6842. We relieve pain.
7-7 tie now after Olympia has scored, and the Spartans set to kick it off to the Maroons. Maroons have some time to do something here. Still a good 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go before halftime, so they can come back and regain this lead. Short kick, Schumacher bobbles it. It's picked up by another man. It's Ryan Conley. He'll try right up the middle. He'll punch it out to about the 30-yard line, maybe just beyond, to about the 32, and that's where Clinton will get the ball, 1st and 10. One thing that was almost the signature of last year's team was the ability to come back after either letting a team get back in a ball game like Olympia has done here, or letting a team regain the lead from them after the Maroons have led. Last year's team, almost in every game, seemed to be able to come back and come back and come back. It'll be interesting to see if this young, more inexperienced team can show that same trait, if they can continue that trend from last year.
Nothing more would tell Olympia that this team is ready to play than to march down the field and kind of give them a slap back in the face.
They spotted the ball closer to the 31, and Sams will carry on an option right. He's caught from behind, drugged down after a good, maybe 6-yard gain on the play. That'll be a good start to the drive for the Maroons. They'll give him almost 6 on it. 2nd and 4 coming up as the ball is spotted near the 37-yard line of Clinton for the Clinton Maroons. Under 5 minutes ago before halftime. We'll keep an eye on the clock now as we move closer and closer to the halftime.
Once again, Big Dave and Casey Hicks freed him up on that right side, and he just ran right behind him and got 6 yards.
I'm going to squelch a rumor here in just a minute. I got to squelch a rumor. It's a rumor I made up, actually. No, here's Sams, option right in a lot of traffic, and I think he slipped and fell down as he tried to make his cut. No gain on the play, maybe a loss or so on the play. Now, Cameron Mon is not my sidekick this year, but I just, I want to squelch the rumor that he was fired from his job. That's not true. Cameron got a promotion in his real job. Not this FACO job that he had last year with me. He was promoted from sports editor to news editor of the Clinton Daily Journal. And obviously this position was more suited for a guy that covered sports full time. So that's why we brought Joe in, because he covers this stuff all the time. Here's Sam's short pass. Ooh, caught by Schumacher, but he's going to be stopped short of the first down. That pass for a moment looked like it had a shot to be picked off. But he was able to make the catch, but it was behind the line of scrimmage, about 2 yards, not behind the line of scrimmage, behind the first down marker. By about 2 yards. So the Maroons are going to be short of that first down. They're going to be forced to punt the football away, it would appear, with a 4th down and a good 1.5 yards to go for a first down, just short of the 40-yard line.
That was a very risky pass as he threw it out into the flat and almost had it picked off, as it looked very much like that play where Eric Kramer got picked off in the Monday night game.
I tell you what Ryan has to do on that play, and he played quarterback last year for the JV team. He hasn't played a lot of tight end to my knowledge. Let's wait for the Maroons punt here. And Sams, of course, will do the chores. End over end kick. That'll be taken by Olympia at about the 35-yard line. Good running room for Anderson up the middle. Still on his feet. Gets to the outside of the field. Spins away for Schumacher. He's met hard by Sams. Hanging on. And he'll be brought down at about the 35-yard line or so. And then there's a flag on the play thrown by the official. And we'll have to wait and see. That was over in front of the Olympia bench, so I'm not sure why that flag was thrown. I hope it's not an additional penalty against the Maroons. Olympia's got good enough field position as it is. They don't need any more help on the play.
Well,
it's a clip against Olympia, so that will come back.
Well, all year long, Nate's been making a case to try to get on defense. Maybe that'll show Coach Nagel.
He doesn't want his quarterback to get hurt, though. He doesn't want to take any extra chances, I'm sure, unless he has to put him in there for some reason. The flag is thrown in the vicinity of where the tackle was made, so that one will help out the Maroons some, but Olympia will still be in Clinton territory when they get done marking off the yardage here. The point I wanted to make is on that pass, Ryan, when he sees the ball coming toward him, needs to come to the ball. If he comes toward the ball, he takes away that chance for the Olympia player to jump in front of him and make the interception, and possibly his momentum going forward, he catches the ball and can continue upfield and maybe get those extra 2 yards that he needed to get a first down. But that just comes with experience, and that's easy for me to say up here in the booth. A lot easier to say up here than being down there on the field in that situation.
Yes, there's nothing more that makes a quarterback mad than a guy that's just standing there and not coming back to the ball.
And not saying that Ryan was just standing there, but, you know, I didn't look at him until he was catching the football. But it just appeared to me that there might have been potential for him to do that. That might have, although he caught the football, prevented that chance. And also, maybe he could have got his momentum going upfield as he comes toward the ball and get that additional yardage. You never know. But that might come with experience. The Maroons are pulled or drawn across the line of scrimmage before the snap of the foot down on this 1st and 10 from near midfield. We're down to 2:45. The ball game tied up at 7 apiece. Brian Knudsen wanted a call against Olympia, but didn't get it from the official. He felt like the Maroons were drawn offside by some movement there, apparently, but the official saw it otherwise, so it'll be 1st down and 5 now for the Spartans at the 45-yard line of Clinton. And the Spartans threatening to take the lead. They have trailed until just recently when they scored on that touchdown run by their quarterback, Jason Worcester, just a little bit ago at the 5:41 mark.
The way that defensive lineman jumped, it makes me hard to believe that there was no offensive line movement.
You're a little prejudiced, though, Joe. You know that?
Yeah.
Out of the I formation. With Shade in motion to the right. Back to pass. Worcester fires it over the middle off the hands of his intended receiver and incomplete. Anderson, he's a good receiver out there, but there was a good solid hit from behind on the play that might have spoiled his concentration a little bit on the part of Wes Graves, who was there defensively for the Maroons. 2nd and 5 coming up.
That was nothing more than a little hook pattern in after about a 5-yard jaunt down the field, and that was just played well by the secondary man.
If he had caught that on the run, though, with nobody hanging on to him like Wes Graves was, he could have been off to the races for some good yardage. So credit Wes with being there to make the play. Anderson's wide to the left side again. He also has the Shade over there inside of him to the left side. High formation again behind the quarterback. Now they'll send the man in motion from left to right. Maroons will adjust defensively. Here's the snap of the football. Worcester back to pass, looking down the right sideline. On the fly, Shade overthrown, incomplete. And he had his defender beat a little bit. Schumacher turned his back, and he got away from him a little bit there. But fortunately, the ball was overthrown by 3 or 4 yards and goes incomplete. Now 3rd down and 5 coming up for Olympia at the 45 of the Maroons. I'm surprised. I know they're a little short on time here, but I'm surprised they haven't run the ball a little bit deeper into the Maroons' territory because they did have over 2 minutes to go, and there's still 2:07 to go before halftime.
Yes, Hoffman has been running very well, and Schumacher just did a cardinal sin there, neither saw the ball or his man.
I think we're picking on Ryan a little too much. I think we need to back off a little bit.
Okay.
You know, he might want to talk to you after school Monday. I don't know. Or me. On 3rd down and 5. Worcester fakes the handoff, rolling out right under some pressure. Will try the long pass down the middle for the tight end, and he's there to make the catch and 1st down yardage to the 22-yard line. He was wide open again. The Maroons pass coverage on that one, not as good as it needed to be. Cradling the ball in was Matt Bodeman. He has the 1st down. They're going to spot it at the 23-yard line of the Maroons, and Olympia still has 1 minute and 57 seconds to try to put it in the end zone here before halftime. 1st down and 10 coming up.
Yes, it looked like the defender might have slipped a little bit to give Budeman that good of an opening to catch the ball.
Again, they'll send 2 wide to the left side on this 1st and 10 play from the 23 of the Maroons. Olympia has controlled the 2nd quarter, where the Maroons controlled the 1st quarter, and we're tied at 7 apiece, but Olympia threatening. He's going to pass again. Worcester over the middle, almost intercepted, and a nice defensive play by Bob Igems, diving and knocking that ball away in front of the intended receiver, who is Jeff Anderson once again. Anderson from his left side wideout position, cutting toward the center of the field. Igems from his safety spot going the opposite direction, read the play, read the quarterback's eyes, and dove with his outstretched arms to make sure that pass wasn't caught by the receiver.
No surprises there for Maroons fans, as he did that last year, and he broke up a good play. That was a crossing pattern over the middle, and if he doesn't do that, that's in for the score.
Minute 33 on the clock before halftime. 2nd and 10 for the Spartans at the Maroons' 23-yard line. Worcester splits his backfield this time, and he has one wide receiver each way, both right and left. Drops back, hands it off, breaking a few tackles and staying on his feet as the tailback. And, man, he breaks several tackles on the play before he finally goes down at the 21-yard line. He should have been down a long time ago, but Scott Wells somehow kept it moving. And the Maroons a very difficult time. You know, David Lemmel had the first shot at him 5 yards deep, and still he gained a couple of yards on the play. 3rd and 8 coming up. I guess you got to credit Wells with a lot of effort and heart on that play.
I think that all the Maroons touched him on that play defensively.
Just about, yeah.
But they went by him, and it was lucky that that safety caught up to him only after 2 yards.
And they still had to grab him from behind and kind of trip him from the ankles, or he might have gone even farther. Big play here, 3rd and 8 for Olympia. And we're inside the minute mark. Clock's running with 51 seconds to go before halftime. Worcester looking both ways, barking out the signals. Has the football now. Fakes the handoff to Hoffman, dropping deep, under some pressure, has the run with the football, still on his feet, but he's caught and spun down, and Wilson puts him down on the ground, probably for a loss of a couple yards on the play. Back to the original line of scrimmage, it looks like, near the 23-yard line. It'll be 4th and about 10 coming up for Olympia, and that keeps the clock running because it turned out to be a running play, and they'll have to stop the clock. They do have a timeout they can use if they need to, but they're going to try to run one more play. What are they doing here? They're going to run the clock down, it looks like. 16 seconds, and they stop the clock. We'll take a break here and see what Olympia is going to do on 4th and 10 coming up at the Maroon 23-yard line in just a moment. 16 seconds remaining before halftime. We're tied at 7 apiece.
The law firm of Bill Smith, Joe Taylor, and Jerry Johnson supports the hard-working Clinton Maroons. Bill, Joe, and Jerry are experienced attorneys who will work hard for you to provide quality legal service for reasonable fees. Good luck, Maroons.
Down to 16 seconds to go before halftime. Coaches on both sides of the field discussing things with their team. We see Coach Chuck Nagel in his 2nd year as head coach of the Clinton Maroons. I think it's Chuck's maybe his 10th year in the school district now. It's his 9th or 10th year. He was an assistant coach for several years before taking the head job last year. And what a great first year Coach Nagel had. I mean, how many times can you step in and have a team go 8-2 for you and make the playoffs in your first year? That looks good on your record and your resume. Not that Chuck's going to go anywhere right away, but, you know, he's got to feel good about that. And really, overall, I think he's probably pretty pleased with his team's effort so far in this ball game, although this second quarter has been a little bit of a tough one to take after a great start in the first quarter. And I'm sure he wished his offense had scored at least twice or maybe 3 times in that first quarter when they had the opportunity. As it stands, we're tied at 7 apiece. And Olympia has had the better of it in the second quarter, and here they're threatening now. But it's a 4th and 10 at the 23-yard line. I think Worcester might put the ball in the air one more time. What do you think, Joe?
Definitely.
No doubt?
No
Split
doubt.
backfield. Anderson's wide to the left side. Worcester dropping back to pass. He's got plenty of guys out there. He's cut from behind and sacked on the play. I believe it was David Lemmel again, and it was. The 4th time in this ball game the Maroons have sacked Worcester, the quarterback of Olympia, and that was the biggest sack of the ball game by far as he spins him down all the way back at about the 30-yard line. David Lemmel pouring through the middle, did not quit, and stayed on top of him and made the tackle. And with 10 seconds remaining, the Maroons are going to preserve a halftime tie here, it looks like, 7 apiece.
I don't know about you, but I don't think Worcester likes the number 75 anymore.
Oh, he can't. Hey, the Maroons might throw on first down. Sams is going to unload, going deep for Schumacher. And for some reason, Ryan slowed up just a little bit, and then the ball went over his head. It might have been thrown over his right shoulder a little bit, and as he spun around, of course, he slowed up, and then it got over him, incomplete. But an interesting call here. You'd think they just run out the clock and go to the locker room, happy with the 7-7 tie here at halftime. Nope, we're going to try to sneak another score in there. I like that.
Well, Coach Knutson isn't a predictable guy, and I don't know. That was a risky call, but...
Well, when you throw it that deep, I guess you think surely your offense can tackle on an interception if it is picked off and prevent them from running it all the way back. 2 seconds remaining. They're going to run it on this play, and Wilson's got some running room as Olympian prevent. He's across midfield, and that'll pad the stats a little bit. He gets it all the way to the 44-yard line. You know, Olympia, after that pass, I'm sure said, hey, let's lay back here and make sure they don't try to go over us again here. And Brian Knutson on the football field, the guy that really runs this offense, he's out there giving high fives to his offensive linemen. You can tell he's pleased with the effort of these young, inexperienced guys. They played an experienced Olympia team to a draw here at halftime. We're tied at 7 apiece. We'll come back and recap this first half of play for you when we return in just a moment.
Walker Tire is a proud sponsor of the Clinton Maroons. Serving the community for 10 years, Walker Tire provides complete on-the-farm service, including exhaust systems, brakes, front-end alignment, belts, hoses, and minor repair on all makes and models. At Walker Tire, 400 Illini Drive in Clinton and Route 54 West in Farmer City, 2 service trucks stand ready to serve your every need. Call Dave or Phil at 935-8923 for all of your tire and exhaust needs. At Walker Tire, the motto is, invite us to your next flat.
We're back here at Clinton High School at halftime on WHOW-FM and also here on Clinton Cable TV. And interesting first half of play. Clinton Maroons and the Olympia Spartans are tied at 7 apiece. You hear the music in the background, I'm sure. The Clinton M squad is performing on the football field for the folks on hand here. And Joe, while we got a second, what a crowd we got here for this opening game. You can tell the enthusiasm from this playoff last year has got the people coming back out for more this year. The town is excited about football in Clinton, and with the nice weather we've got here tonight, big crowd on hand for this ball game. The bleachers are full, people standing along the fence along the football field. They're excited about watching this football team this year, and they've had an entertaining first half to watch, right?
It's definitely been a carryover of last year, and the Maroons have been entertaining, and I love to see these big crowds out here cheer on these kids.
You know, when you look at the first half of play and you kind of analyze how this ball game went so far, you'd have to give the first quarter to the Maroons, second quarter to the Spartans. Maroons dominated the first quarter of play, and actually into the early portion of the second quarter, the offense was able to move the ball down the field pretty easily. The defense held the Spartans down, but something happened there in the second quarter of play, and it all started about the time the Maroons were called for a pass interference penalty, and the Spartans got an automatic first down on that. And all of a sudden, the Spartans got some confidence. They got out of a deep hole. They moved them out away from their goal line a little bit, and they got their offense rolling. And the Maroons were back on their heels quite a bit the rest of that second quarter of play, having to play defense. The offense wasn't quite able to get things going again when they had the ball in there, and Olympia able to move the ball down the field. And both teams able to come up with one touchdown, but the Maroons had their chances to score maybe 3 times in that first half of play, and I wish they had 3 up there instead of 1 right now.
You made a good point. Olympia didn't have any first downs at all the first quarter and got 4 or 5 that second down to tie the Maroons in first downs, and they definitely dominated that second quarter of plays. I think that big line got to the Maroons a little bit.
I have to admit, this sweatshirt's a little warm for this time of year, but I had to wear the playoff sweatshirt, and here you are wearing a hockey uniform. I still can't figure that one out. You've been trying to keep stats while you've been trying to do your first game on color. And how's it going? Do you feel you're pretty accurate here? We're not going to hold him. This is not official stats or anything like that. But do you feel like you're pretty accurate on the stats here?
Yes, I
you want
think
to
so.
tell us a little bit about what has occurred here in the first half? And that's all right. You can use cheat sheets if you need to.
Okay.
If you need to pick it up and read it right off there, you know, you don't have to have it memorized or anything like that. Yeah, you do. No, you don't. No, go ahead.
Well, I think the veterans and the young kids, at least in experience-wise, have meshed together here. Sam's 7 attempts, 45 yards, and Wilson 6 attempts, 66 yards rushing. And Ryan Schumacher's caught the only 2 passes completed by Sam's for 10 yards. So he's taking over that tight end role for Ben Nichols and doing a good job. And Conley and Queer got in some runs here. They combined for 6 attempts, 68 yards.
Yeah, obviously, Ryan Conley with the 1 run for the touchdown of, what was it, 23 yards, I believe it was, in the first quarter of play. So that was a big run and a good one to watch. What about the passing game so far?
Well, Nate has only put up 4 passes, as I said. Schumacher caught both of them. And Worcester, on the other hand, has put up 10. He's only completed 3, but he's picked his passes as they have all been long, as Anderson caught gains of 10 and 13. And Boudman, the tight end, caught one for 22 there at the end, and really made it exciting for these Maroons fans because they needed a big sack from Dave Lommel there at the end to save what could have been a potentially damaging drive before halftime.
Well, it's been really a pretty evenly matched first half of play, as we said, kind of strong in favor of the Maroons in the first quarter of play, and then swinging in favor of Olympia in that second quarter of play. Who knows what the second half is going to bring us, but I think it's going to be more of the same. We should go right down to the wire in this one, and I have to admit, and maybe I shouldn't do this in front of all these people on the radio and on TV, I have to admit, I was concerned. I mean, I'm hearing about Olympia. I'm reading in the paper. These guys, by the coaches in the Corn Belt Conference, are picked to be the second-best team or tied for second-best team in a very tough Corn Belt Conference. The coaches from our conference say Clinton's 4th out of the 6 teams. And I'm thinking, man, you know, they've got a lot of experience coming back from last year. We've got a few guys and a lot of guys coming up from the JV. We might be outmanned in this ball game, and maybe we still will be in a second, but I don't think so. We're hanging in there and playing right with these guys in this first half of play, and I think that bodes well for the rest of the season.
Yeah, one thing you can't believe all that the coaches say. I think that they're always doomsayers coming out of the beginning.
I know one thing. You can't believe everything Chuck Nagel says. I know that, Chuck. I've learned that very quickly from him.
And Larry might have the sweatshirt, but I have the faith. I think this team can hang on and beat Olympia here.
Oh, the faith. I thought you said you had the face. I thought you meant you had the face for TV or something. You got the faith.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm not saying that we're not going to win here. I had some concerns coming into the ball game. Marching Maroons are on the field right now performing for the crowd here at halftime. We're going to take a break and be back with more, so stay with us here on both WHLW-FM and on Clinton Cable TV. We're tied at 7 apiece between Clinton and Olympia here at halftime. All right, both teams are huddling with their respective coaching staffs on their side of the field, getting last-second instructions before we start this third quarter of play. Maroons and Spartans all tied up at 7 apiece, and Maroons will have to kick off to start this second half of play. Maroons got the opening kickoff of the ball game, moved the ball down the field nicely, but then were stopped on a 4th down and very short on a quarterback keeper. They did score on their second possession of the football game. Then Olympia scored about midway through our second quarter of play, and that's why we're tied at 7 apiece. But the Maroons will have to kick it off here to start quarter number 3. And Carl Kortz, who I've seen kick the football twice so far in this ball game, an extra point and the kickoff after the touchdown, has shown me so far, and I've heard from you and other people also, very strong leg. He can boot the ball some distance. His kickoff carried all the way inside the 10-yard line on that kickoff after the touchdown.
Yeah, I went to a few of the Maroons practices, and he was kicking off, and I think he was teeing up probably about 35, 40-yard field goals on the practice field. So Coach Nagel has an ace in the hole if he needs to use it.
Kortz approaches the ball, and here's our second half kickoff. A deep one that will carry to the 2-yard line to Anderson. Jeff Anderson straight up the middle. Got the wedge out in front, but somebody breaks through there, grabs him down low. And then I think it was Ryan Conley up high that grabbed him and threw him to the ground. That's Clyde Leggett. Clyde originally from Wapella. Had to sit out last year after transferring to Clinton High School, but Clyde's got some ability, and he was out there, first man down on the field to make the hit and make the tackle on the play.
Yes, I was talking with him in American history, and he was saying he was very excited to be playing, and he just wanted to go out there and hit some people.
All right, that's what we want, some inside information. I like that. All right. 28-yard line. 1st and 10 for Olympia as they get the ball first to start our second half of play. They've got 2 wide receivers to the right side. I formation in the backfield behind Worcester, their quarterback. He'll try the second man. That's Hoffman, left side, breaking some tackles and staying on his feet, still pushing hard. He's got about 7 or 8 yards on the play all the way to the 35-yard line before he's brought down. Ryan Schumacher was in on the tackle. A gain of almost 8 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 2. And I was surprised Olympia didn't just try to run the football like that when they had to go almost 3 minutes ago before halftime. And the ball in the Maroons' territory. They went to the air real quickly, and I think that cost them a chance to take the lead before halftime.
They came out passing, and I agree with you. I think it did hurt them, and I think maybe the coaches come to a change in strategy here.
Well, you know, prior to that, they have been running the football well there earlier in that second quarter of play. They'll run on 2nd down, of course, hole up the middle, 1st down yardage, and a 1st down gain for Olympia's Scott Wells as he spins it across the 40-yard line to about the 43 before he stopped. He got through the line pretty quickly and gained about 5 more yards, and Olympia quickly on 2 plays has a 1st down. The Maroons were more effective in that second quarter of play, putting pressure on the quarterback when he was trying to throw. Now, they did complete a few passes. They beat the secondary a couple times, but the Maroons also thwarted that last chance attempt for Olympia to score by making some quarterback sacks.
Yes, I don't know if it's a designed roll or not, but Dave Lummel ate up the quarterback when he came his way, and I don't think they had a try to play again.
Fumble, and the Maroons may have it. It slipped out of the hands of the quarterback, and who's got the football? Not too much excitement on the part of the Maroons, so Olympia apparently got it back immediately. That was a close call for the Spartans. The ball bounced off the hands of the quarterback, Jansen Worcester, I should say. Went immediately to the ground, but one of the linemen jumped on that football quickly. A loss of 1 yard on the play, so they'll still have it with a 2nd and 11 coming up. Boy, I wish the Maroons could have got that. That would have helped stem the tide a little bit here because Olympia's come out charging. in the third quarter of play, quickly getting a first down. Now on 2nd and 11.
Yes, the Maroons have turned the ball over a couple times, and Olympia hasn't.
Worcester with a long call, has 2 wide to the left side, but he'll hand it off to the first man again, and a good opening up the middle, and there's flags on the play, and I bet the Maroons got a piece of the face mask when they tried to make the tackle on Scott Wells that time. Scott Wells picked up about 6 yards on the play to about the 48-yard line, and the Maroons, one of the guys making the tackle on the play, inadvertently got a hold of the face mask, and that should give Olympia an automatic first down and should push them into Maroons territory also. We'll see how many yards they mark off here. I guess in high school ball, it's just a standard 15 yards. I remember getting corrected on this a couple years ago when Cameron Mon and I were doing the games. We were thinking of different levels of the sport and thinking that there's, you know, the flagrant face mask penalty, and then there's the, you know, the incidental one. But in high school football, it's all the same. It's a 15-yard penalty regardless of whether it was accidental or if it looked like you really meant to grab a hold of that thing and yank it.
Well, Clinton is showing their inexperience. They've been penalized 2 or 3 more times than Olympia.
Gives them a first down, Olympia, now in the Maroon territory, inside the 40 to about the 37-yard line. Got a man in motion to the right. 2 wide receivers right side then. Hoffman gets the call going to the left side. He's got an opening initially. It closes up, but not till he gets about 6 more yards, maybe 7. They've got the offense rolling on the ground right now, and there's no doubt about it. They're opening up some good holes on that left-hand side and right up the middle. They're not trying to run around the corners to try to outquick the Maroons. And the Maroons this year, for one of the first years I can remember, have pretty good team quickness. They're going to use a timeout. Clinton's going to use a timeout here. Chuck Nagel says, I got to make some adjustments. We're still tied at 7 apiece, but Olympia's moving it down the field to start our third quarter of play. And we'll be back with more in a moment.
Quality, value, and service. That's what you'll find at Ace Hardware and Gift Shop in Clinton. Let us help you find exactly what you're looking for in paints, hardware, and power tools. All your lawn and garden accessories with great buys on gas grills and mowers. From plumbing supplies and fixtures to all your electrical needs, we've got you covered. Whether you're a homeowner or contractor, visit our unique gift shop for a great selection of everything from dinnerware to lead crystal and porcelain figurines. Remember, Ace is the place in Clinton with the helpful hardware folks.
Coach Chuck Nagel talking things over with his football team here toward the near side of the field, out near the hash marks. Of course, you know, the rule changed several years ago where the coaches can actually go out in the field. I remember the good old days when I was a young man your age, Joe. How many years ago was that? I don't want to talk about it. And then, you know,
we won't ask.
The players had to come over to the sideline and talk to the coach on the sideline. But now the coaches go out onto the field and you know, the water boys or whatever terminology they use for the managers that help out, that type of thing. You'd be good at that, taking the water bottles out there and helping out.
Well, I don't mean to knock them because it's a very...
I don't either. Don't get me wrong.
It's a very valuable job to the team. I would not like to do it. But those guys are pretty special out there carrying the water around.
Well, they're very supportive of the team also, obviously. And on a night like tonight, these guys probably can't get enough fluids. Like we saw earlier when Jeff Wilson was having a case of leg cramps. You know, they need to drink as much fluids as they possibly can. Because they have a tendency to dehydrate or get in a situation like that where they're going to cramp up because it is a very hot, humid night. I mean, this is the first game of the year, and we're still in August.
Definitely.
Awfully early to be playing football.
Yeah.
2nd down and 3 for Olympia, but everybody on the line jumped before the center said, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to hike the football to the quarterback. I think the center was on a different snap count. So that'll go against the Spartans.
One thing that is quite disturbing, though, is that Olympia's been ripping off big chunks of yardage running on that left side. I think they've ran all 3 plays to that left side, and hopefully they can bone up and play a little bit better D.
That'll make it 2nd and 8 coming up for Olympia as they're pushed back out to about the 35-yard line. Something you'll want to tune in for tomorrow morning on WHOW AM and FM radio, Joe, is our Coach's Corner program. Coach Chuck Nagel will join me via the telephone, and we'll talk about tonight's ball game and what's coming up on the schedule next for the Maroons. I'll tell you when in just a little bit. Olympia, and of course, no surprise here, will run the football, and Hoffman that time not a big opening, but still is able to stutter step his way for about 4 yards or so. Down to about, that 32-yard line, I think they're going to spot it. So we got actually only about 3 yards back after that penalty. It's 3rd down and 4 coming up. Around 9:30 or so, we'll hit the air. Around 9:30 tomorrow morning, and Chuck Nagel and I will talk for about 15 minutes or so, as we did each week during the season last year on our Coach's Corner program. So
with you two, it's definitely interesting.
We have to fight for airtime, Chuck and I do, because he has no shortage for words. As do I. Oop, another fumble on the snap, and the quarterback got it off. Got it back, I mean. Now, how did the ball bounce? Would it bounce off the back of his center and ricochet back to him somehow? Anyway, that's the second bad exchange on this drive for Olympia, and that could be a real costly one for them because that brings up 4th down now. They got the football back, and they lost a yard, but now they have 4th down and 5.
Yeah, you can tell it's August. You have those type of plays where the quarterback and the center don't quite work out. I think that maybe Worcester either pulled away from center quickly or the center didn't give him the ball.
That was a big play here for the Maroons defense. They've had trouble stopping the run of Olympia, and they can't give them more than 5 yards, or Olympia will keep this drive going into Maroon territory from near the 33, 4th and 5.
Come on, D.
Worcester with the count. A long count. Ooh, a man started to move in motion, and then there's a flag thrown. Boy, what has happened to the Spartans here? I mean, they started out this third quarter just rolling along, and now they just self-destruct, and they're going to have to punt the football, it looks like, to the Maroons, as that'll push them back another 5 yards. They'll have 4th and 10, and they're going to try to put the Maroons against their own goal line now, but this just shocks me. They're just shooting themselves in the foot here with mistakes.
They had a few penalties and that fumbled snap. They recovered it, but it was successful in killing their own drive. They shot themselves in the foot.
They will punt the football from near midfield. Actually, in Maroon territory, the punt will come from about the 45-yard line. The Maroons will hope that it'll bounce into the end zone. They got a couple men deep near the 10. High kick. Fair catch called for and made back at the 5-yard line by Bob Igems, I believe. And yes, it was Bob who made the catch. And as his progress going back to catch that football stop, the official said he was near, I think, the 6-yard line. So the Maroons will start awfully deep on this drive, 1st and 10 from their own 6. But the Maroons, finally, with some help by Olympia, slow down the Spartans and keep them from getting on the scoreboard again. So we're still tied at 7 apiece with 7:07 to go into third quarter of play. Let's see if the offense can get it rolling again.
Yes, I think this would definitely turn the tide if the Maroons marched 94 yards down the field and scored.
They really need to get it out of the hole at least and try to push it into Olympia territory and try to pin them back a little bit. And boy, on the first down play, a run up the middle and going to the ground immediately was the ball carrier, who I believe was Ryan Conley. And I didn't even see an Olympia player get a hand on him, but he went down quickly. No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. That's not the way you want to start out your drive.
He was tripped up, I think, by a lineman pulling over. I don't think Nate tripped him up, but it was certain that he did get tripped.
We're nearing the halfway point of the third quarter, still tied at 7 apiece. Maroons scored in the first quarter. Olympia scored in the second quarter, and we still stand at 7-7. Sam's under center. He'll hand it off. They'll try the run inside again. There's a flag on the play, and very little gain on the play again for the Maroons on the attempted run by, this time, Bob Igems out of the backfield. Now let's see what the penalty call is against the either team here. And the officials discussing it out there at the center of the field. Haven't seen a preliminary signal yet. The Olympia players are pointing at the Maroons and saying it's against Clinton, and that's probably the way it's going to go. Procedure penalty against the Maroons.
That hurts.
Well, Olympia's got a decision to make here. Push him back deeper and bring up 2nd down again, or take the very short gain 3rd down, because they do have him inside the 10-yard line already. They're going to take the penalty, though, and push him back some more. They're showing confidence in this defense, which struggled early in the ball game against the Maroons, but did much better in the second quarter.
Hoping to get a safety. They're going to try to pressure Sam's and try to stop a back in the backfield to try to get 2 points generated.
Ball's back to about the 3-yard line, just outside the 3. So it's 2nd down and about 13. And Sam's back to pass, has time out of the end zone, throws a short pass up the middle. It's caught, and Schumacher still on his feet. He's short of the 1st down, but it's a gain of a good 10 yards or so on the play, out beyond the 10 and maybe close to the 15 or so, out not that far up the field. It's beyond the 10. Let's see where they spot it after they finally corralled him and threw him down. Maybe the 11-yard line or so.
Once again, Knutson showing his wackiness, passing out of the end zone.
You don't have him for a class, do you?
No.
If he hears you said he was wacky, that might cost you in class. I don't know.
Well, passing out of the end zone is definitely risky in any case, even in the pros.
3rd down and 5. They're at the 11-yard line now. So the Maroons need a big play here to keep this drive alive. And Sam's will option. He's bottled inside. He has to keep the football and gains just a couple of yards as he falls forward. And is dropped short of the 1st down. Making the tackle on the play for Olympia was Chris Phillips. He's a junior, 5'11", 174 pounds. 4th down and 3 coming up for the Maroons. And it looks like Clinton will have to punt. There's not much of a win factor, at least not at this point in the ball game. We look at the American flag hanging over the scoreboard at the north end of the field, and it's limp. There's no breeze at all.
Yeah, the one key thing about that last play is the left side of the line just caved, and a bunch of Olympia Spartans just came and surrounded the ball.
Sam standing at about his own 2-yard line, awaiting snap from center. It's a good one. Little pressure, but he gets the boot away. End-over-end kick that's going to be fielded. And he had his knee down as he made the catch at about the 40-yard line. They'll spot him at the 39 where Nick Shade caught the football. And with that knee down in high school football, you're down immediately as he caught that football.
Although a couple Maroons got in a pretty good hit on him.
Well, he tried to run with it, so I guess he was open game until the whistles blew, and the officials didn't blow him quick enough to prevent that from happening, which is fine with me.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't trying to say it was a cheap shot or anything.
No, I know. 39-yard line of the Maroons, 1st and 10 for Olympia. The defense is going to have to do it again here. Still tied. It's 7 apiece. No scoring so far here in the third quarter of play, and we're down to 4:45 to go into third.
Need a big play by the D here.
Need to force him into a turnover if at all possible, or at least hold him here on downs. And they're going to pass. I'm surprised. Worcester will throw over the middle, and oh, what a nice catch made. I mean, there was intense defense on the part of the Maroons that time, but somehow making his first catch of the ball game is Mike McKee. McKee had to stretch out as he cut in from the left side, cut in over the middle of the field, and with the defender right on him trying to knock the ball away, somehow he grabbed it with both hands and held on, and a 7-yard gain on the play. 2nd and 3 coming up.
That was just a 6-yard in. He ran 6 yards down the field and then came in toward the middle, and Worcester found him perfectly.
That was a good throw and an awfully good catch because the Maroons were there defensively that time. On 2nd down now, inside the 35, about the 34-yard line. Hoffman gets the call, breaks a couple of tackles. There's a flag on the play. Certainly this will be a holding call or something along those lines, and yes, that's what it'll be against Olympia. You know, the Maroons looked much better defensively that time. Hoffman was running crazy there to start the third quarter of play, and they shut him down after very little gain at all, and that was with one of their offensive linemen holding on the play. So that's good to see out of the defense.
Once again, Olympia preventing themselves from moving anywhere with the penalty, and they're not going to score if they keep shooting themselves in the foot here, as they've been penalized 3 times already this quarter.
Yeah, it is a little surprising when you take a team like Olympia, with certainly a lot more experienced players returning from last year's team compared to what the Maroons have. And they have made more mistakes out there, more penalties that have cost them here in this ball game. Normally you would think it's the more inexperienced team.
That might just be the beginning of the season. I don't know really how to explain it.
I think it's a good sign for the Maroons, though, that they're starting out this well and holding down their mistakes so far in this ball game. Worcester's under pressure, rolling out right, throws for a short man and underthrows him. A lot of pressure being applied by the Maroons on the play, and for Clinton, that was right on top of the quarterback Worcester, was Ross Wantland, and forced him to throw that pass well short for his intended receiver coming out of the backfield, which was Scott Wells. So 3rd down now and 15. I guess we omitted the fact the penalty pushed the ball back to the 45-yard line. So it's 3rd down and 15 from the 45 of Clinton for Olympia, with 3.5 minutes to go in the third quarter of play. Still tied 7 apiece.
Chad Sexton was also converging on the ball, and he pressured the quarterback as well. Good job by the Maroons.
Out of the I formation, wide receivers both ways. It's Anderson, their best receiver so far in this ball game, wide to the right side, and Shades wide to the left side. Worcester fakes the handoff, drops straight back, firing it deep downfield down the left sideline, and intercepted! Yes! Intercepted by the Maroons. Schumacher on a return now, 15, 20, cutting it up the middle of the field, caught from behind and spun down. But the Maroons have the football on Ryan Schumacher's interception down near the 10-yard line. Again, Ryan, as he did earlier on a play, looked to be kind of falling behind the receiver. But he looked back that time, he picked up the football, he saw it was underthrown, and with the 6'2 frame in comparison with the smaller receiver, was easily able to block off the intended receiver on the play, use his bigger body to get in front and pull that ball in, and he made a nice return after the interception.
Well, I did pick on Ryan a little bit, but he played that ball well.
Yep. Well, the Maroons will have it after the interception and return back to about the 30-yard line, 1st and 10 at the 30. I think is this an official's timeout we have on the field right now? An official's timeout has been taken. I think they're keeping in mind that this is a very, very hot night for high school football. These players with all the pads on and these uniforms are playing in some pretty tough conditions here with the first game of the year, and they're keeping an eye on these players to make sure that they're not taking any extra risks. We've got a player on the Maroons team, and I didn't pick up the number, and I'm not going to speculate until we know for sure who it is, lying flat on his back. And again, I think it's a leg cramp situation down here behind the Maroon bench. So they're checking on him, and he's going to get to his feet right now. It appears to be okay. and that's Bob Igems, and that's good to see.
Yeah.
He's all right. But I think he was suffering a little bit from leg cramps. So the officials, from time to time here in the second half, may blow the whistles, call an official's time, and say, hey, guys, go get some water, take a quick break here and load up on some fluids here so we can get through this game without any injuries. And that's a smart move on the part of the officials.
They realize that every rules change has a positive and a negative. They wanted to get the playoffs in, but it also brings more heat to the beginning of the season.
Certainly does. First down, Maroons will run. Wilson right up the middle, the fullback, pulling somebody as they had a hold of his jersey, but he kept his feet and kept running hard before the tackle was made by Winninghill of Olympia. A gain of about 4 yards on the play for Jeff Wilson. Almost 5. It's going to bring up second down and a long 5 coming up for the Maroons. They're at their own 35-yard line. That's a big interception by Ryan Schumacher, though. And again, I'm still astounded by the fact that the Spartans insist upon trying to throw the football when it appears that they can run the football pretty effectively since their slow start in the first quarter. Sams will hand it off to Wilson again. Oh, as he cut it upfield, he was met hard and thrown back.
I think it was a loss. I don't know.
Hoffman hit him immediately and again had help from Winninghill, but Hoffman charging from his linebacker spot. He's got that big linebacker number, 44. I like those guys that, big and strong, and they charge up there and make those hits. It was a 1-yard gain on the play, believe it or not, after the forward progress by Wilson.
He's a third-year varsity player, and he's definitely shown his experiences. He's been all over the field tonight and in the backfield on offense.
3rd and 4 for the Maroons at their own 36. Like to get a first down here. It's fumbled on the ground, and Sams is able to jump on top of it. Again, we've seen a couple fumbled snaps by Olympia, and now here one by the Maroons. Weather could be a factor. I know it's weather. There's no rain, there's no wind, but I mean the fact that it is very hot and humid out here. It's a summer-like evening. That ball could be slippery from all that, and these sweaty football players can make the snap from center a little bit difficult, and unfortunately that prevents the Maroons from getting a first down. They'll have to punt the football.
Well, Larry, you said it's hot enough in your sweatshirt. Imagine pads underneath it. That's how bad they must be feeling down there.
It is tough. Here's Sams with another punt. End over end kick. Taken on the run by Anderson, and his feet are taken out from under him. And then there's a flag thrown, and that might be a blocking penalty against Olympia behind the play a little bit. But that was Ryan Schumacher, who has become a man possessed out there after making the interception, and he's the one that kicked Anderson's feet out from under him on an ankle tackle out there at the middle of the field at about the 45-yard line of Olympia. A clipping penalty is the call against Olympia.
Yes.
And again, there's another penalty against the Spartans.
Well, Larry, you and I were talking about Schumacher. We said yesterday that there's no way they could just keep him in a reserve quarterback role. He has obvious athletic ability, and he's showing it out here tonight, and I hope he has as good as a season as his debut here in varsity play.
Well, I didn't get to see too many of the JV football games last year, and I know Ryan quarterbacked that football team. I don't know how much defense, if any, they let him play in those games, but of course I saw him play varsity basketball last year. And you know the way Ryan carries himself on a basketball court. I mean, he's all business. He's hard-nosed. He's 200%. He's just go all out, and he's going to be that way on the football field, too. And you're seeing that right now with the interception, the run back, the coverage on this punt, and the way he made that tackle. He might make some mistakes out there from lack of experience at a tight end position once in a while, but he's certainly not going to come up short on effort out there. No doubt about that.
Not only basketball, but he's also a gutsy pitcher for the varsity baseball team.
Absolutely. Good all-around athlete. On 1st and 10 now, after the penalty, Olympia starts deep in their own territory at their own 27. They get a good first down run, though, out beyond the 35. Actually, the line of scrimmage was closer to the 29, it appears. So they're going to be about 3 yards short of a first down after that carry. And another Maroon player is a little slow getting up. He's down where the tackle was made. Olympia will have a 2nd down and 3 coming up, and we're nearing the end of this third quarter of play. No scoring in the third period. 57 seconds remaining in the third.
I agree with you, Larry. I think that Coach Ron Smith's offensive selection is a little bit of an enigma. He tries to he's throwing the ball a lot with Worcester, and Hoffman seems to be ripping up some pretty good yardage on the ground.
We're not knocking Worcester. He throws the football nicely. They have made some completions. But since somewhere in the second quarter of play, Olympia, to me, for the most part, has shown the ability to run the football pretty effectively. And you would think if they just stuck with that game plan, that they could just move the ball right in for a score. It was Bob Igems who was the player slow getting up out there again. And again, it appears he's all right. Probably leg cramps once again. Get yourself a water bottle there, or Gatorade or something, and drink heavily to get back in there.
I don't mean to knock Worcester, but he's only 4 of 13 passing, and I think Olympia would have more success if they just kept it in Hoffman's hands.
Well, I hope nobody's listening to the radio and the coaching staff for Olympia right now. Well, even if they are, they're not going to listen to us. What do we know, right? 57 seconds to go for the third period of play. We're all tied at 7 apiece. Clinton scored first in the first quarter on a 23-yard run by Ryan Conley. Extra point kick was good by Carl Kortz. And then Olympia came back in the second quarter of play and scored a touchdown and a quarterback run. And, boy, players are jumping all over the place out there. And everybody has a flag out. I forgot mine.
And the quarterback
gets swung to the ground. A nice little dance out there with Chris Dahl. You see Chris swing him around?
Yeah,
Chris,
that
6'2",
like
180 pounds, a junior.
He just swung that quarterback around like a windmill. And once again, Olympia penalized. They're killing themselves.
Procedure penalty. Another 5-yard penalty. So instead of having a second down and 3, now they've got second down and 8. Line of scrimmage about the 31-yard line.
They have 8 penalties up to this point, and it's really just killed them here in this half. The Maroons haven't had the ball on offense a lot, and Olympia keeps stunting their own drives.
Let's see if they go back to the air now on second down and 8 from their own 31-yard line. Long call by Worcester. No, he'll hand off. First man trying to get through an opening there, but Ryan Schumacher keeps him contained, and also with excellent help on the part of Ross Wantland, those two guys contained the running back Scott Wells and preventing him from gaining any more than about a yard on the play. Third down and a long 6 coming up. And that is the final play of the third quarter. We'll have to switch ends. We're still tied, and we've got a quarter of football to go. Our scores will take a break at the end of 3 quarters of play is Clinton 7, Olympia 7.
Quality Glass and Trim wants to take this time to wish the Maroons the best of luck in their football season. Quality Glass is your complete glass sales and service center. Locally owned and operated, we repair storm windows and screens, replace auto vinyl tops and headliners. We handle all types of glass from desktops to windshields. All insurance work is welcome. Give us a call at 935-3120 or stop by 220 Northeast Street, Clinton. Quality Glass and Trim is proud to be a sponsor of the Clinton Maroons.
Getting ready to start the fourth quarter of play. Clinton Maroons and Olympia Spartans are all tied at 7 apiece. And Olympia with a third down and about 6 situation here. Olympia will try to throw. Worcester short pass is caught on the right sideline, and it looks like they have enough for a first down as they run it up the right sideline. Knocked out of bounds around the 40, 41-yard line or so. We'll wait and see for the officials if they've got it marked as a first down, but it appears to be a first down play, pass play, that goes for a first down for Olympia, and then we have a player down for Olympia out there in the center of the field that will stop the clock momentarily here early in the fourth quarter of play.
That was just a quick swing pass to the outside to the wide receiver. It was a good call. I really thought he would get stopped before they got a first down, though.
Well, I don't know how he found enough opening up the right sideline, but somehow he did and squirted through there to get the first down out about the 42-yard line. So another stoppage in play here. He looks like it's one of their bigger men. Oh, that's number 89 now we see for Olympia, Matt Bodeman. Their 6'4", 230-pound tight end on offense. He's one of their big guys on defense, too. He's a very important player for them, but he's getting to his feet. And perhaps maybe, no, that looks more serious than leg cramps, possibly more serious than leg cramps. He is definitely favoring one of his legs as he's being helped out the field by a couple of the coaches. We'll hope that's not serious. Hate to see a big guy suffer a serious leg injury anytime, but especially in the first game of the season. I want to remind our listeners out there and our viewers here on Clinton Cable TV that the Maroons play a home game again coming up in their next game, next Friday night, right here at home. Another non-conference game. It'll be the Rockets of Tolono Unity. And the Maroons, in the last few years, certainly have had their way with the Rockets. They picked up several victories, and hopefully that trend can continue again this year. Come on out and support the Maroons and listen and watch the game. We'll have coverage for you next Friday, the Maroons and Tolono Unity. Now a 1st and 10 for Olympia at their own 42-yard line. And just getting the handoff, I think, in a nick of time, and they're going to get some running room. Boy, I don't know how he got that away. Worcester, did he keep the football, or was he able to get that one away? They got it to the right side and picked up a little bit of yardage on the play, about 6 or 7 yards. They're running to the far side of the field, and very difficult to pick up. I think I'm going to have to watch the television monitor instead of trying to look across the field.
I believe that was Worcester on the keeper there.
We looked like we had him surrounded right after he got the football, though, and started to run to the right side. So that's why I didn't think it could be him with the football. I thought he must have handed it off.
He must have had an outside burst to get to the sideline and pick up a few more yards than we thought originally he could get.
Maroons defense needs to tighten up a little bit here. Early in the fourth quarter play, we're tied at 7 apiece. It's 2nd and 3 as Olympia approaches midfield. A quick pitch to the left side. Hoffman trying to get outside, but coming up and making a good strong tackle on the play as Wes Graves. Hoffman fell forward to the midfield stripe and got a yard or so. But it'll bring up 3rd down and about a yard and a half to go for our 1st down. But Wes Graves, who was definitely outsized on that matchup, made a good tackle on the play.
Definitely a good play by Wes Graves, as I'm thinking he was giving up at least 50 pounds on that play and in a few inches.
Wes is listed at 150 pounds, and what's Hoffman? He's listed at 190, so at least 40 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Am I adding pretty good there?
Yeah,
or
that's
subtracting
pretty
or whatever?
good.
Thank you. Well, you're in school. You know, I kind of expect you to handle that.
Okay.
3rd down and a yard and a half from
I didn't
midfield.
look down at the sheet.
Well, I had to. I had to cheat a little bit. They'll run it right up the middle, and I think that might be enough yardage for Hoffman. Little bit of a hole. The Maroons grabbed him down low and tried to drag him down, but the first down yardage has been made. It was Lemmel at the bottom of that pile. He tried to slow him down, had some help on the play by Clyde Leggett. But Olympia is in the Maroon territory to the 48-yard line and a 1st down. Early fourth quarter action, 10:26 to go in the 4th. And a 1st and 10 for Olympia.
It was just a quick trap up the middle, and it seemed to work as they got about 6 yards maybe.
They've stuck with the same 2 wide receivers. I think he only got about 3 yards on the play for the 1st down, actually.
Okay, I'm sorry.
At the 48-yard line. 2 wide receivers to the left side, the same 2 it's been all the game. Anderson's one. They'll run it right up the middle, and good strong running for 1st down yardage and more to the 35-yard line. And Hoffman again was the ball carrier.
That's about 15.
Now, he might not pop right up after that. As a matter of fact, he's not getting up too quickly at all. But he's got to be getting to be a tired young man for Olympia. Yeah, he gets up after a short delay there.
He's carried the ball 17 times.
But he's had to be the workhorse. He'll have to come out of the game. The officials stopped the clock momentarily because he was slow getting up, and they said, hey, you got to go off the field when you stop play like that. They apparently asked him if he's okay, and he didn't react quick enough, so they'll bring a substitute in there. And
I think he came back on the field.
Zach Hartzold.
Or maybe not.
Now, Zach Hartzold is in. He wears a uniform number very close to the same as Hoffman, so he checks in at that tailback spot. Olympia 1st and 10 from the Maroons' 35-yard line. Let's see if they still keep it on the ground. Fumble, but Olympia has it. It went right through the quarterback's legs and recovered by the fullback that was right behind him, Scott Wells, who jumped on the football, and a loss of a couple yards on the play. That's about the 4th between the 2 teams, at least the 4th fumbled snap from center to quarterback in this 2nd half of play. And again, I think it's just the heat and humidity making things very slippery out there.
The only thing that has gone wrong is that any one of those fumbles ended up in Maroon hands.
Yeah, the team that has fumbled the football, put it on the ground, has gotten it back every time in that situation. Here comes Shade and Anderson again wide to the left side on 2nd and 12 now from the 37-yard line.
Maroons need a big play.
And by the way, the big guy's back in there, Hoffman. He won't get the call this time. He'll lead block for Wells. Wells spinning, breaks a couple more tackles, and is finally driven to the ground from behind by Brad Earl, but not until he got about 10 yards on the play. Remember, it was 2nd and 12, so they're going to be a couple yards short of a 1st down, depending upon where they spot the football. They're going to be more than that. The ball is spotted just inside the 30-yard line, I believe. So it's 3rd down and a good 3 coming up, it looks like, for Olympia after that run by Wells. And Hoffman laid a big block into the line to spring that one open at the beginning, but Wells did a nice job running with the football after he got the handoff. The wide receivers will split this time, 1 to each side. Anderson's toward the near side of the field, the left-hand side. An I formation, now they'll line up side by side as Hoffman takes his stance to the right of Wells.
And Hoffman polished off a pretty good linebacker block there.
Yeah. He'll lead block again. Wells finds an opening right side, has 1st down yardage. There's a penalty on the play, though, and I think this one's coming back. Olympia has it down inside the 20, but there's a flag thrown where the blocks were made at the line of scrimmage, and it's a hold against Olympia. We're down to 8 minutes and 9 seconds to go in regulation time. Olympia trying to threaten here, but again, they commit yet another penalty that slows down one of their drives. And again, this really could cost them a chance to take the lead in this football game.
Let's hope this young Clinton football team can feed off the crowd and try to stop Olympia here and try to mount an offensive attack and take the lead in this game.
I had some uneducated fan in front of me here ask me if they have overtime. I don't know where he's been. I know he's come out to football games in previous years, but obviously he doesn't pay much attention. Yes, there is overtime in high school football, and if we get closer and closer and we're still tied, we'll explain what happens when we go to overtime, if it looks like that might be the case. But they will decide this game. This will not end in a tie, not in high school football. They went to that many years ago, even when I was a youth. Another fumbled snap from center, and flags are thrown again with the snap of the football.
Could be procedure.
I would think so. I'd like to see him cough up the football, though. They're going to go back 5 more yards. Well, you know what's going to happen now with 3rd down and about 20. The ball goes in the air again, and I think that's to the Maroons' advantage. Not that Olympia can't connect on it. They have burned the Maroons a little bit with some passes, but we also picked one off a while ago.
Well,
so there's opportunity.
What's killing us, Olympia, is that they're making the field of play about 120 to 130 yards long with their penalties. And when you have to be 3rd and 20 in high school, it's not a very high percentage play.
3rd, and yeah, it's right about 20 yards to go for a 1st down. They're way back now to the 46-yard line after the 2 penalties.
That's 10 total.
Worcester's under center. Long call, has a football. He's going to give it to Hoffman on the delay. Has an opening up the middle, but he's tripped up and only got a couple of yards inside the 45 to about the 43-yard line. 4th down in a bunch, in Olympia, which was rolling down the field and looked like they might have a shot at putting some points on the board to take the lead. Here was under 7 minutes ago. Just under 7 minutes ago in the regulation time, it appeared to be ready to punt the football again to the Maroons.
Neither team has that killer instinct. Neither one is doing the little things that you needed to win. Maroons did that last year. That's why they were 8-2. But either team looks tentative to come out and take this game.
Ooh, boy, that was scary. The punt was fumbled momentarily, but recovered by the Maroons. It looked a little scary. A low line drive kick that was fielded on the line by Randy Rich. It bounced off his chest pad, so to speak. Right off the number 45 on the front of his uniform, hit the ground, but he got right on top of it before Olympia player could get to it. And so the Maroons have possession of the football. No run back on the play. At the 16-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Maroons at their own 16, and they break huddle quickly. They have lots of time to do something, though. There's 6.5 minutes to go in the ball game, but this would be a good time to put a drive together and put some points on the board just before the regulation time runs out. Sweep right. Conley has some help out front. Gets around the corner. Breaks it upfield. 20, 25-yard line. Knocked out of bounds at the 25, but that's a good 1st down play for the Maroons. It's almost an 8-yard gain. And Bill, my cameraman, if you get a chance and you can pan down to the left on the sideline, you'll see Cameron Mon down there. He's wearing the dark hat. He looks like a bum down there. He's standing by a guy with a red hat. Now that's the news sports editor there, Wack, and then that's Mon beside him to the left. That's my old color man, and now he's just hanging out at the game on the sideline. He thinks he still thinks he's some big press guy or something. Back to action. I got to give him a hard time. 1st down run, Ryan Conley up the middle. Does he have enough for a 1st down? He'll be real close.
Connolly ripped off 9 on that first play, using the right side, and they went up the middle that time and got the 1st down. They only got the yard they needed.
Got the needed yardage. 1st down for the Maroons, out to about the 27-yard line. David Lemmel's coming off the field. After a little delay there, he comes off under his own power, but apparently he's being bothered a little bit by leg problems. I bet he's got cramps too. They're going to work on the left calf, that left leg, and that big guy's trying to stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been a brutal night for these players. And again, I think the officials, or did Olympia take a timeout here? Officials are going to call a break in action here. With 6:14 to go, we're near the midway point of the 4th quarter. Let's take a break also. We're all tied up at 7 apiece, but the Maroons have the football, trying to put a drive together. Back out here at Clinton High School during this official's timeout. Still tied up at 7 apiece. Clinton scored first in the 1st quarter. Olympia answered in the 2nd quarter, and we've been tied at 7 apiece since the midway portion of that 2nd quarter, and now we're down to the midway portion of the 4th quarter of play.
And you don't like to see Big Dave come out, but if there's anybody that needs a rest, it's him.
They're still being worked on the sideline, and now I think the Maroons jumped here. They're going to be called for a procedure penalty as play is blown dead before they could get that one off. So now the Maroons with a penalty, although not near as many as Olympia has had. 1st and 15 coming up for Clinton. That'll push him back inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line.
Yeah, they have 3 fewer, and I was just saying during the break, I can't believe that Olympia, a team of mostly seniors, has as many penalties as they do. I know it's early, but the coach, I think, will be hitting them hard during practice about that.
Yeah, David Lemmel's back into the ball game, so he's back in there. Shane Van Fossen also came in, and back to pass to Sams. Short pass, caught by Schumacher, but dropped immediately. Got about 3 yards on to play back, or maybe more like 5 yards back to the original line of scrimmage, but good close coverage by Nick Shade, and he immediately made the tackle on Ryan. Ryan's made a couple of good catches in this ball game. That was not an easy catch, running across the field from the center of the field to the left and reaching back to catch that football.
He has caught all 4 passes. They're high percentage passes, but the good thing about that is you're usually not going to turn the ball over.
Actually, Ryan has caught 5 passes.
Oh, 5? I'm sorry.
Well, no, I'm tricking you. Interception. He had an interception, too. Sam's back to pass again on 2nd down and about 10. Sams is going to run with the football now. Running for the sideline. They converge quickly, but he tiptoes his way out of bounds. Yeah, how much yardage did he get here? Up to about the 37-yard line. We'll see where the officials bring it out.
Maybe 7.
Going to be about 2 or 3 yards short of a first down, if we can depend upon the marker on the far side of the field. We'll wait till the officials bring it out toward the hash mark. They're about 1.5 yards short of a first down. That's a good run by Sams. Looked like he was going to roll out and throw, and then he just turned on the afterburners, and boy, there's just no doubt Nate can run with the football. I mean, he's got good enough quickness.
They need a conversion here to keep this drive going. This is a big drive.
3rd down and short. Sams looks to option it to the left. Has
they got it.
Upfield he goes. Cross midfield. 40. Can he outrun everybody? Nobody's going to catch him.
Yes.
Oh, my. He's going to go all the way, but there's a flag on the play. A flag on the play we saw. When I said, oh, my, I saw a Clinton player bump into the back end of an Olympia player at the 23-yard line. An official way behind the play saw it and threw the flag. There really wasn't much chance for that Olympia player to catch him. But this is going to come back now. Not the whole run will come back, but that thwarts the touchdown by the runs. Oh, my.
And the referees are hearing it from the Clinton crowd. But that is a good call, as you could see the Olympia guy obviously fall down.
It was a clip, and it knocked the guy off balance. I don't think he could have caught Nate, but the official trailing on the play saw an Olympia player still giving chase, and he was blocked from behind by a Clinton player, and that's got to be the call. I don't think, I mean, we can argue about it because we're prejudiced, we're homers, but we're not, there's no need to do it. That's the call. The 15-yard penalty from the 23 where the infraction took place will bring it back to the 38. Really, it looks like it's the 37-yard line. But the Maroons have a 1st and 10. They still have 4:52 to go in the ball game. And we'll see if Nate can do it again or they can still score somehow.
How much did they gain on that play?
Back to pass. I'll tell you in just a second as soon as we can figure it out. He lost the pass high in the air, and he's tackled on a play. Yes! Yeah! There was no catch made, but the intended receiver, Lance Taylor, was just tackled on the play when the ball was coming down. The pass was underthrown. Lance was trying to reach back for it. I don't think he had much of a chance to catch the football, but the defender dove on top of Lance Taylor near the 10-yard line. And I like your enthusiasm, Joe.
I'm sorry.
But you just blew my eardrums out.
I'm sorry. I'll try
It'll
not
be
to
another
do
first
that.
down and another penalty against Olympia here. We'll give the Maroons a first down, and they're going to be down near the 20-yard line. We'll see where the officials spot the football. This is 15 yards from the line of scrimmage, so it should be at about the 23, 22-yard line, and that's where it's going to be placed. Let's see. Nate Sam's run. You're wanting to know how many yards it was. I don't know. We'll have to watch the replay to get it. It was a lot. It wasn't as much as we wanted it to be, though.
No.
The touchdown had stood up. Here's Sam's rolling out right, wanting to run with the football again. He takes it 15, 10, 5, down to the 2-yard line, maybe the 3. It'll be 1st and goal for the Maroons. And I tell you what, I think this is playoff experience from last year and winning football games experience from last year that's starting to show for the Clinton Maroons. They are smelling the goal line. They are smelling the win here. They had to start this drive deep in their own territory, and they want it. And Nate Sam's, a real leader out there, is the one who really wants it. Ryan Schumacher's real slow getting up. He's a little shook up, but he's coming off the field on his own power, and he'll be back in there in just a second. But he was knocked down on that play and was a little slow getting up.
This is exactly what I meant by doing the little things to win. Nate is making those little cuts. They're giving him the blocks, and they're articulating the ball down the field.
First and goal from the 3-yard line for the Clinton Maroons. Still 4.5 minutes to go in the ball game. A tie score. Olympia's coming, but they get the handoff to Connolly. He's wrapped up and dropped from behind for a loss on the play. Olympia looked like they were blitzing on that play, and coming through there was Pat Simmons to grab Connolly from behind and drop him for at least 1 yard, maybe a 2-yard loss on the play. Second and goal coming up for the Maroons just inside the 5-yard line. They'll have to try to regroup here and still punch this in the end zone. It looked like they had the score on Nate Sam's long run, but it was brought back by a clipping penalty. Can they still punch it in here and get the lead in this ball game? You know what? I wouldn't care if they take at least another minute off the clock to get this score, though. Give Olympia as little time as possible to come back. Sam's again keeping. He's going to be swarmed under a drop for a loss on the play. He kept it, went left, and they charged through there and dropped him for another loss of about 3 yards on the play. We'll see how much loss they're going to give him here. All the way back out near the 10-yard line. That's about a 5-yard loss. It's going to be third and goal from the 10.
The difference on that play is they went behind the left side instead of the right side. Both of Sam's huge runs were on the right side, and I think the left side just caved on that play, and all the linebackers got to Sam's very quickly.
Ryan Knudsen, who calls the plays for this Maroon offense, is out on the field. Timeout has been called by Clinton. Stops the clock with 3 minutes and 39 seconds to go. Keep in mind now, we ought to point out at this point, I think this is a good time to point it out, with a tie ball game 7-7 late in the ball game, that if the Maroons don't score, they do have the option after this third down play of bringing number 11, Carl Courts, out there to try a field goal. We've already chronicled the fact that Carl has a very strong leg. Really, they're close enough. This is within his range. I don't know about his accuracy, but I think he's a pretty accurate kicker. And, you know, if they have to make a decision, they might just go for the 3 to get the lead here this late in the ball game. So we'll have to watch for that if they don't score on the third down play. And that's going to be a tough call for Chuck Nagel or Brian Knudsen or both of them, whoever makes that decision, probably Chuck.
I don't want to jinx Carl here, but he has looked very good in practices, and he looked very good on the kickoffs, as you've pointed out before. A kicking game is a very big factor, and hopefully he can.
I know Carl would like the opportunity if he gets the shot, and he's loosening up down there on the sideline right now. But I would love to just see the Maroons go ahead and punch it in here right now and get it over with, not worry about it.
Yeah. Hopefully he can kick it in if they need it.
The crowd in front of us making some noise now. They are shaking the bleachers here. And what a crowd we have here tonight for this ball game. Sams rolling out left, gets a block, throws it in the end zone. It's almost intercepted and knocked down incomplete. Ooh, that was up for grabs for a moment. The intended receiver on the play for the Maroons was Shane Van Fossen, but defensively Nick Shade had the inside position and broke up the pass. And here comes Carl Courts onto the field to try the field goal.
I think Nate realized that that was the only way that they could get a score. He had Olympia Spartans hanging all over him, but I would like to see him maybe just take the sack on that one or throw it out of bounds. That was a little risky for me.
Carl has put the tee down at about the 18-yard line. We're going to call it a 28-yard field goal attempt. The ball will be kicked from right smack dab in the middle of the field, and 28 is well within his range.
Come on, Carl.
Good snap, and it's blocked away by Olympia. That's a loose ball, I believe. Nope, they're going to blow it dead.
No, they can't run back a... Oh, yeah, they can.
Ball.
Yeah, they can.
No points on the board for the Maroons. A big defensive play by Olympia. I didn't see who it was, and I'm looking for flags, hoping for a flag, but I don't see any. So Olympia will get the football, and they'll have it with 3:27 to go. They've got plenty of time to do something. The kick
was low.
It was a low kick, and that helped to make the block on it. It wasn't kicked right into him by any means, but it was not high enough to get over those charging linemen for Olympia quick enough.
That's the one thing you don't encounter in practices is the actual live people coming at you.
Carl's kicking himself a little bit. Actually, I saw him kind of slap himself in the side of the helmet. He wanted to get that. But now the Maroons defense will have to try to slow down Olympia. Well, boy, now that penalty really looks big. I thought we'd go ahead and punch it in even after it was called back.
Yeah.
But that clipping penalty by the Maroons, ouch. You know, the officials were blowing their whistle and blowing that play dead when that ball was still live out there, at least in my opinion. And now they have spotted the ball right where it was recovered by Olympia after the block. I mean, it ricocheted back over Carl's head and was going back toward the Olympia goal a ways. It's going to be at the 29-yard line of Olympia. They could have, I don't know if they could have advanced the ball, but it was still a loose ball.
Yeah.
Maybe in high school ball they can't advance it. I don't see field goal attempts too often, and you certainly don't see them blocked too often. Now Olympia on first down. I thought I saw some movement out there. Worcester hands it off. They got a little bit of an opening up the middle, and first down yardage out beyond the 40-yard line to about the 41. Olympia has a first down in that carry, and that was by their fullback, the littler guy, but the one that lines up first in that backfield, Scott Wells. About an 11-yard gain to the 41-yard line. Clock stops momentarily as they move up the change. There's 3:20 to go in the ball game, 7-7 tie.
What you don't want to see here is the Maroons get down on themselves. Olympia is certainly on a rush now.
Well, Olympia made the defensive plays. That's what the Maroons defense is going to have to do here. And a very exhausting football game on a hot summer-like night, no doubt about it. A second down run that will gain about 5 as they try the right side. And, boy, just a lot of scrambling out there. Wells gets about 5 on the play. He's across the 45 to about the 46, almost the 47-yard line of Olympia territory. They're approaching midfield, and the clock's down to inside 2:50 to play in regulation time in a tie ball game, 7-7 tie. Tie.
Well, I think Coach Ron Smith is using his brain here. He only rushed Wells twice, and Hoffman is getting a little tired, so he's coming to him now.
He's still in there, though, lining up side by side now with Wells. They fake the handoff. They're going to pass. Worcester looking deep down the right sideline. Schumacher's got to get back. He's going to pick another one off. Yes, he does. And he'll get a run back. 30, 35, 40-yard line to the middle of the field. He's to 50, 45, and he'll go down near the 40-yard line of Olympia. Ryan Schumacher with his second pickoff. Again, the pass was underthrown, and Ryan acted like he just knew the ball was going to be thrown behind the intended receiver. He waited. He went up high again in front of the intended receiver, made the catch like a center fielder waiting for a can of corn, and he makes a great run back on it. Oh, I guess they're going to give him to the 41-yard line of Olympia, and now the Maroons are in the driver's seat again here with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go.
One of his favorite pro players is Deion Sanders, and he's playing like prime time now.
Maybe Carl Courts will get a second chance at a field goal here. We'll wait and see. Quick pitch. Conley, he'll try the right side, trying to get a block out front, cuts inside that block, and then is caught and brought down at the 31-yard line, almost a 10-yard gain. I think it'll be a little short of a first down. They'll give him closer to 9 yards on the play. Maroons in a hurry up here now. I think they've got at least one timeout remaining, so when they want to, they can stop the clock for a possible field goal attempt if they don't score here, but we're down to 1:35 to go in the ball game. At least in regulation time, a 7-7 tie.
It's very important that Carl Course doesn't get down on himself after that first attempt. He might have another chance.
Maroons got to stay away from penalties here. Sam's back to pass. Lost it over the middle. Catch is made by Schumacher. He's down to the 10-yard line. Sam's put it right on the money over the Olympia defenders. The linebackers looked like they had good coverage, but Schumacher slipped in behind him, and Nate just stumped it over the top with the white jerseys, and Schumacher makes a catch. Stumbles backwards toward the goal line, and I think the Maroons have first and goal at the 10 with 1:20 to go.
Schumacher and Sams have been playing with each other since grade school, and that connection is really killing Olympia tonight.
Get the ambulance ready. I think I'm having a heart attack. Out of the I formation. Clock running. Getting close to the minute mark. Shams on an option. Finds a little opening. He's inside the 5. Down close to the goal line. He is stopped just short of the goal line. I think he's close to the 1. He's very close to the 1-yard line. About a 9-yard gain on the play, and the Maroons will have second and goal from the 1. Don't cough up the football. 54, 53 seconds, 52 seconds to go in regulation time. Maroons are knocking at the door, trying to win the opening game of the year against a highly touted Olympia team.
I don't know about you, but this doesn't look like a heavily underdog team to me.
Here comes a rush by Olympia, and they got across the line of scrimmage before the snap of the football, I think. Penalty flags are flying. They were charging. They were trying to cut down this thing before the Maroons could get it moving toward the goal line. It's procedure penalty against the Maroons. Well, I think somebody in that offensive line saw him charging and probably got a little intimidated and jumped back. That hurts. Boy, somehow the Olympia defense intimidates the Maroons into a penalty. That's a heck of an effort by Olympia to do that. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's back to about the 6-yard line, just outside the 5. 39 seconds to go, and the clock is running. The one thing you don't want to do is let the clock run out. You do have a chance at least for a field goal if you don't score here.
Yeah.
I think the Maroons really need to score on this play. From the 6, Sands hands it off. Conley trying to get around the corner. He's got the speed. 5, touchdown!
TD, baby!
Ryan Conley, a sweep to the right side, got around the corner, and scores from 6 yards out with 23 seconds remaining in the ball game to give the Clinton Maroons a 6-point lead, 19-7. Oh, what a run, and we knew he had speed, but he really showed it there. Way to run, Ryan.
That's his second, I believe, is it not?
He had the first touchdown of the ball game, a 23-yard run midway through the first quarter, so he's got 2 touchdowns.
He's stepping up.
Extra point attempt kick coming up here by Carl Courts.
Him and Ryan Schumacher really played hard and
Nate
good.
Sam's on the hold. The kick is high enough this time over the defenders, and it's good. So the Maroons have to cover the kickoff, and maybe 1 play from the line of scrimmage, maybe 2, depending upon how long Olympia runs this play back. Let's take a quick break here. We'll be back with the final 23 seconds with Clinton leading 14-7. Well, we're still trying to get our breath back here at the football field. Ryan Conley scores from 6 yards out on a sweet run to the right front corner of the end zone to give the Maroons the lead. 14-7, 23 seconds for the Maroons to try to run this one out and win it. Here's the kickoff. They got to cover it. Carl Courts, a good, long, deep kick. Will go into the end zone for a touchback. Courts boots it 65 yards. Actually, went about 68 yards before it rolled dead in the back of the end zone. The only thing that does, though, the only bad thing that does is the clock doesn't start running. So they still have a full 23 seconds to try to do something from the line of scrimmage. But they have to start from their own 20. They're 80 yards away from pay dirt, and they need a touchdown and at least an extra point to force overtime. Or if they want to be real gutsy and they score a touchdown, they got to get a 2-point conversion to try to win it. But they've only got 23 seconds to try to do it.
Clinton just cannot fall asleep in this situation.
Now, you don't want to be playing too close to the line in this situation. You're playing against the home run. Worcester, though, has shown the ability to underthrow the ball. He gets the football, almost dropped the snap, under pressure, throws it for the sideline, over the head of the intended receiver, well into the Clinton bench. The intended receiver was Jeff Anderson, but he threw it way over his head. Ryan Schumacher had coverage. What a game Ryan Schumacher's played here in the second half, especially defensively. I mean, he's made some great catches on offense in this ball game, but his 2 interceptions in this ball game, especially that last one, the key one, it set up the Maroon touchdown. Big plays in this ball game.
If his debut is indicative of how he's going to play for the rest of the year, then the Maroons have just found themselves a possible MVP candidate for this year as one of the new guys emerging.
Yeah, Ryan certainly had an outstanding ball game, but there's a lot of guys that have played awfully well for the Maroons here tonight on both sides of this line of scrimmage, and a lot of them were wearing question marks on their uniform, not numbers. I mean, we were wondering, okay, these guys are young, they're inexperienced, how will they do? 18 seconds to go, 2nd and 10. Worcester back to pass. He's going to run with the football. Has an opening. He's to the 25. He's caught by Lemmel. Lemmel's going to just hang on to him and, throw him around a little bit and run out the clock. Olympia calls timeout, 9 seconds remaining in the ball game. We'll keep it right here. And they will have, it's not really that important, a 3rd down and 2 at about the 28-yard line. But the most important thing, 9 seconds on the clock. Lemmel a little slow getting up again. Again, I think the leg's bothering him a little bit with cramps. Timeout on the field. We'll keep it right here. Well, I tell you what, regardless of how this turns out, and with 9 seconds remaining, it feels awfully good with the Maroons leading 14-7. But you couldn't ask for a more entertaining first game of the season. I mean, just, a real close, tight ball game with lots of action. It's been a real fun one to watch. And I know not as much fun for the Olympia fans over there right now, but still a very entertaining first game of the season. And you got to like the way the Maroons were prepared by this game by the coaching staff. They just, again, like they were last year, looked like a very well-prepared team for this first football game, even though overall they're a pretty inexperienced varsity football team.
Yes, if you read the papers, you might have thought that Clinton shouldn't even be on the field with this team. Some articles I read.
Well, maybe not quite that far, but certainly when you read about Olympia and you read about Clinton, it was Olympia has experience.
Yeah.
And they are going to be one of the top teams in their conference. Clinton has inexperience, a lot of question marks. They may be in the second division of their conference, or at least in the middle of theirs. And, that would lead you to believe, reading that, and I know you said you don't believe in that stuff, and you don't read it, but that would lead you to believe, based on all those experts' opinions out there, I say sarcastically, that Olympia would be at least a 2-touchdown favorite coming into this ball game. But right now, the Maroons lead by a touchdown with 9 seconds remaining, and how sweet it is if they can hold on for 9 more seconds. They got 3 wideouts this time. They put Hoffman out there, too, and Worcester obviously is going to throw. Drops straight back. Fires it deep downfield. It's up for grabs. It's going to be intercepted. Bobbled, but hung on to. And going down with the interception is Randy Rich. Randy almost let it get away, but he gets an interception. And the clock has run out. And the Clinton Maroons have won this opener as they celebrate on the field here at Clinton High School. We'll recap it for you in just a moment. The final score, the Clinton Maroons 14, the Olympia Spartans 7. We'll be back with a recap on this ball game in just a moment.
It's 1:47 on a Thursday afternoon, and you need to get to the bank. Why worry? The John Warner Bank lobby is open until 3 p.m. every day during the week, including Thursday afternoons. And for those of you who find 3 a little early and need to see us before our Friday and Saturday weekend hours, our drive-up is there for you every Monday through Friday evening until 6 p.m.
Well, what a ball game we had here tonight. The Clinton Maroons win this opener over a very strong non-conference opponent, the Olympia Spartans. They win it by a final score of 14-7. Exciting action out there. The Maroons offense didn't put as many points on the board as maybe they would have liked, and maybe as many opportunities as they had, especially during that first half of play. But they got enough points on the board to win this ball game, and I think the Clinton defense has to be credited with a very good ball game, holding Olympia to 7 points. Obviously, I don't think we can overlook the fact that Olympia hurt themselves a lot in this ball game with costly penalties at some really costly times when they had drives going. They, as we said during the game, shot themselves in the foot sometimes with some of those penalties and took themselves out of opportunities to get additional first downs to keep moving the ball. But when it came time for the real big play, the Maroons defense was there, like interceptions by Ryan Schumacher, and these guys have got to be feeling really good out there in the center of the field right now as they huddle out there after this victory tonight.
For an experienced team like Olympia was, they had 11 penalties, which will kill anybody.
Yeah.
And Worcester threw 3 interceptions, although one at the end of the game was kind of cheap because he was just throwing it up for a Hail Mary.
Just hoping for something good to happen, and it didn't happen for him.
But I think Randy Rich will take it anyway. And Ryan Schumacher came up with 2 big interceptions, and he caught every pass that Nate Sams completed. And I think he had 46 yards receiving.
Wow.
Or somewhere around there. And that's a big debut for him, and I hope he can keep on doing it all year long. And Dave Lummel, the big senior, had 3 sacks.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's really the seniors and the underclassmen meshing together.
You know, we talked about those leadership guys. I mean, those guys that had experience from last year's team, and there's really basically only 3 of them that played a lot of time last year. And those were guys that we talked about a lot in this ballgame that stepped forward. Nate Sams, obviously. Yeah. David Lemmel, obviously. Bob Igems was a real leader out there for him. I mean, these guys stepped forward and showed that leadership. And, of course, those guys, like I said, with the question marks on their uniforms, as they're coming off the field now, and the crowd giving it, a lot of people hanging around here, saluting this team for a great effort in this first ball game and getting this victory. Anyway, those guys, you know, they came through. They played very well. So just what a terrific ball game. A quick look at the stats. You know, they're very unofficial. There was so much to try to keep track of here at a very exciting ball game. I know she got a little excited once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
During the course of the game.
I'm sorry I didn't mean to blow your eardrums out there.
Only once, you know, it was, yeah. I might have to go have an operation tomorrow, but, yeah, I'll get over it eventually. Don't worry. I'll send you the bill.
Well, okay.
I've got insurance. Don't worry about it.
Well, I had Sams at 99 yards rushing, and Wilson had 92. So there's some pretty good jobs done. And Connolly had 76 unofficially. And Schumacher, of course, had the 46 yards receiving. Nate was 4 of 8 for 46 yards passing. So, you know, good job.
And defensively, the Maroons really did a pretty good job. There were times when I thought Olympia looked like they could really run the football. But really, in their statistics, they didn't really gain that much yardage. Certainly not near as much as the Maroons did, I know, statistically in this ball game on the ground. And, of course, obviously, the passing game didn't fare near as well for them as it did for the Maroons.
Yes, they only had 55 yards in the first half, and I would guess that they only had about that in the second half. And basically, Worcester put the ball up a lot, and he didn't complete a lot. And that's going to hurt the team when you have that many plays devoted to passing, and not a lot of them are completed.
Well, the scoring plays real quick here as we recap it and wrap it up for you. 2 of the touchdowns scored in the first half of play, 1 by each team. The Maroons struck first, and they were off to the races with 5:08 to go in the first quarter of play. Ryan Conley struck from 23 yards out, a nifty run where it looked like he was going to be stopped near the line of scrimmage, and then all of a sudden broke out of the pack and just ran away from everybody. Ran it in from 23 yards out. Carl Quartz's kick was good for the extra point, and the Maroons led 7-0. That's the way the first quarter ended. Then about halfway through the second quarter, Olympia started to exert themselves some and move the ball down the field. They were helped by some penalties, and they finally got it in the end zone on a 15-yard run by their quarterback, Jansen Worcester. He ran it in for 15 yards out with 5:41 to go before halftime. The kick was good by Olympia following that. We were tied at 7-7, and that's the way we stayed, although there were threats on the part of both teams throughout the second half. That's the way we stayed until only 23 seconds remaining. After Ryan Schumacher's second interception of the second half, a good run back, a couple of key runs during that stretch, a key pass play that really got him down close. A pass. I'm holding the paper in front of the camera. I'm not supposed to do that. I'm not used to TV. I'm sorry. Anyway, key pass play to Ryan Schumacher that got him inside the 10-yard line. But then the Maroons were pushed back by penalties, and it looked like, oh no, how are we going to do this? Ryan Conley breaks it loose from 6 yards out, runs it in the end zone. 23 seconds remaining. The Maroons take the lead. They get the extra point, and they win it 14-7. And I'm exhausted. I mean, I need a week off before the next game now.
Yeah, well, the Maroons looked like they would win it a little bit before Conley went in, as Nate Sams would have had a huge touchdown run, but it was called back for that clip. Luckily, they did have another chance at it. Connolly did run it in, and I was a little surprised. The tide turned toward Olympia after that first quarter. The third quarter, they had the ball in their hands most of the time, and Clinton just prevailed when they needed it. And if they do the little things like they did tonight, then they should have another winning season. And Coach Nagel is really looking good right now in my eyes.
Maroons are off to a one-win, no-loss mark to start off the season, and they'll try to make it 2-0 with a ball game next week right here at home when they host Tolono Unity. That's going to do it for our TV portion of things. We're going to take one more commercial break on the radio, though, and come back and just wrap it up a little bit more for you on radio in just a second. But for now, good night to all the folks watching on TV here on Clinton Cable TV, and we'll see you next week with the next ball game against Tolono Unity.
Thank you for joining us for Clinton Football.
For the third straight season, Clinton players coming out on the field, and Clinton's Ryan Schumacher with a couple of touchdowns, one via the defense, 37-yard interception return, and he does go all the way. And another long run to show you to make it 21-0 Clinton. Ryan Connolly with a 73-yard run. We got some long runs tonight to show you, and Clinton wins by 30, 48-18 over Warrensburg-Lathrop. And believe it or not, we'll have more.
Corner is brought to you by the John Warner Bank. Now, here's Larry and Coach Nagel.
Well, thank you, John, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Coach's Corner program for this Saturday morning. We've completed week number 3 of the 1994 regular season for the Clinton Maroons, and so far the record remains unblemished for the Clinton Maroons. The winners over Warrensburg-Latham rather handily last night, 48-18. And we do have Coach Chuck Nagel on the telephone line here with us. And Coach, thank you, and thanks to your coaching staff and your team for not giving us another heart attack last-second game. You made it easy on us and everybody else last night by just racking up all kinds of points early in the game and winning it rather handily last night. A nice change of pace.
Yeah, it was a great change of pace, and of course we like it that way better than the other way. But I think part of the reason why we came out and played like we did last night is through our experience of the first 2 ball games. And, once again, all the credit in the world goes to the kids. Whatever it was last night, I think it was a combination of things, maybe we can get into later, that somehow pushed their button. And there are a lot of things that Warrensburg did to, incite us, but there are a lot of things that Warrensburg did just through their basic attitude that made our kids want to go out there and show them what Clinton football is all about.
Well, you came right out at the very start of the ball game. Warrensburg had the ball first, but Ryan Schumacher made a terrific interception of a pass, and just to top things off, he ran it all the way back into the end zone for a touchdown, and you were off and running in the first little over 2 minutes of the ball game. And you followed that up with your offense, just moving the ball and scoring at will. Actually, I think you scored 2 touchdowns in 3 plays, and we were up like 21-0 in just no time. And Warrensburg's heads were dropped to the ground pretty quickly after that start.
Yeah, I think part of what happened last night, and going back to even the beginning of the game, the kickoff team, and we can look to a lot of individuals too that are on my mind right now. Is Brad Earl? He's had first 2 weeks of the season been kind of tough for him to get used to his position, and then
right.
Ryan Conley just went down there. It was just amazing to me, and Ellie Treesberg did a great job with that team working on this week. That was one thing, being a defensive coach. I don't like to have the opposing team start on the 35-40.
Right.
So that was one team that was going to get better in a hurry, and they were just, it was like somebody lit them on fire. They just went down there and just put the leather on people. And Kyle Steele's a formidable opponent, of course, and you know, he had the first half anyhow, he had like 20 yards or something along those lines. But then Shu comes out there and intercepts that ball. One of the things, it's been such a long time since we intercepted a ball and scored, going out defensively first. I don't usually like that, but it dawned on me after he scored it, we got to go right back out again. So the kids just rose to the occasion. Warrensburg is a good football team, and I know a lot of people think that all we do is blow this great smoke screen, and sometimes maybe we do, but I'm not quite sure what happened last night, what got our kids going. I just know that they're a great bunch of individuals.
Ryan Schumacher almost had another interception for a touchdown, too, and I guess that was called back on a penalty, but he almost had two last night.
Yeah, Ryan, that second one was amazing. That ball was less than an inch off the ground, and
right.
Bobby broke it up.
Right after, Bob Igems had broken it up, right.
Right, he just picked it up off the ground, and he's a great runner. He's a great runner with the football, and you know, Ryan's first year at weak corner, only second year in the program, he's been a pleasant surprise, to say the least.
You know, you've got a kicker this year in Carl Kortz that can put the ball pretty deep on those kickoffs, you know, usually down at least around the 10-yard line, it seems. Was that part of the problem with your kickoff coverage in previous games? Was he out-kicking your coverage a little bit, or was it just a matter of fine-tuning it like you said happened this week and getting those kids to cover it better? And also, just to add a little bit more to that question or comment, boy, I just couldn't get over the gang tackling and the way your team was swarming the ball carrier on those returns last night.
Well, I'll tell you, there's probably a few things that went into that. Yes, Carl is an excellent kicker. He's one of the best kickers we've had. Jeremy Hinton was a great kicker, and Carl was basically his understudy last year, but we knew Carl was going to be a good kicker. And part of it was the fact that in the beginning of the season we had so much work to do on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know if we put the time in the special teams like maybe we have in the past or should have. But after reviewing the film from last week, and you know, we just kind of all decided that what we're going to do is go back to basics. We're going to go back to making us a better football team rather than worrying about what other people are doing. And part of that was Ellie just took the bull by the horns and said, you know, let's get this kickoff team straightened out. And our punt return team has been struggling a little bit, almost broke one. Had a little trouble there, but of course our kickoff return, Bobby Igems scored on one of those. So we're real pleased that that phase of our game is coming into its own right now.
You had to make a little change with your lineup. You moved Clyde Leggett to the fullback spot with Jeff Wilson hampered by that injury. And I know Jeff played quite a bit of linebacker on defense, but you kept him off the offensive side of things. And Clyde stepped in there and did a great job for you at fullback last night.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you know, what makes me feel good is the fact that we go to JV games, we go to freshman games, and maybe we win, maybe we don't. But what we're doing constantly, and this is just to my staff, what my staff is doing is evaluating talent. And John came back and said with Jeff being out and Josh Wilson was playing a little bit, you know, that gives CO a shot because he had been in the line. But originally he was a back. So in practice we gave him, you know, a look, and he's a tough, hard-nosed kid. And what was surprising to me was right before the ball game, the trainer said to me that Jeff Wilson, if he had to, could go. So, you know, we had Clyde in there both ways, and Clyde did a great job. Brian was a little disturbed by the fact that we couldn't, you know, get our fullback play going. But the problem was that every time we pitched the ball or Nate held onto it, we scored touchdowns. So it's a kind of a nice problem to have, you know. Sometimes it doesn't dawn on us till after the fact. So yeah, we're real proud of the effort that Clyde gave us last night. Absolutely.
What is the health status of Jeff Wilson? Can you give us an update on that? Is he going to be close to full strength maybe next week? I know that's a long way away, but how's he coming along?
Well, like I said in the paper, our full intention was to go into this game play by play. So we knew Jeff was real close to being ready to go Friday. We rested him a lot last week, and he played 3 quarters of a game at linebacker, and Jeff's our most experienced linebacker, and you know, my number 1 linebacker, and Clyde was getting tired because it was hot last night. It's tough to go fullback linebacker. Jeff knows that pretty well, and he did a great job when he was in there. So I think Jeff is 100%. I think when we see him on Monday, that hip pointer will just be something of the past.
Is everybody else in pretty good shape? You know, I saw Bob Igems go down one time, but then he was back in there, you know, a little bit later and played the whole rest of the game. Well, not the whole rest. You rest a lot of your starters, but he was back in there. Are we pretty good shape health-wise?
Yeah, I think we're in great shape. I think there's one thing about athletics that I think most people understand is when you go 100%, like our kids do every play, every down, you don't get hurt. The injuries happen when you're not going 100% or if it's a freak thing. And the reason why we stayed healthy, knock on wood, to this point is because our kids do play 100%. And that's, you know, Bobby's injury. What was Bobby out for? Bobby got nauseous, got sick on the field.
Oh.
When you're exhausting yourself to the point where you're sick that way, or you go by and you slap David Lemma on the back, tell him good job, and your arm is soaked with sweat, and Casey Hicks and Ross and all those guys, you can't ask for much more of an effort than what those kids are putting out there.
Coming into this ball game, there was, you know, a lot of talk about Warrensburg's back, Kyle Steele, and you touched on that a little bit earlier. And, you know, he was highly touted, had a great year last year, and had a couple good first games this year, the first two games. But what was the key to slowing him down? Because, like you said, he picked up very little yardage in the ball game last night.
Yeah, the total for the game, Kyle Steele had 52 yards in the first half. We got him at 22 yards. I think the key is, you know, and I sound like a broken record, but one of our perspectives, even after this game, is we haven't done anything yet. You know, our goals are much broader than what a lot of people think. And I'm sure that part of the reason why this team is playing the way they're playing is because they want to be better than last year's team. And that's a great attitude to have. That's a tradition within a program. But, you know, they just heard so much about Kyle Steele, and their coach was pretty open about the fact that he's the best back in the area and they have the best offensive line in the area. And our kids just basically said, okay, maybe you are, but you got to prove it against this defense. You got to prove it against these guys. And last night, you know, I feel really good because if they have the best line in the conference and the best back, then the way we took care of it last night at the all-conference meeting, I'll have no problem getting all those guys first team.
Well, now next week we go on the road. Is it going to seem kind of strange not playing a home game now?
I don't know. We may still dress in our home uniforms and really confuse people. No, I don't know if you got to go on the road to start off with Monticello, let's say, versus Sullivan. That's a nice way to break into how we behave when we do take a road trip. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to feel strange. It's going to be different. But like I said, this group of individuals, these young men, if we say to them, you know, when we're on a road trip, here's the type of behavior we expect, that's what will happen. So sometimes you worry about that stuff, but we've been really fortunate the last 2 years and even a little bit before then to have the type of kids we got in Clinton that respect what we're trying to do and consequently understand we're just trying to help them be the best football player they can.
Well, 4 out of the last 6 regular season games are on the road, starting with next week at Monticello. When we come back after this commercial break, we'll talk about that game coming up and maybe talk about a couple scores from last night's games, too. So we'll be back with that in just a moment.
They say the really good things in life are free. For John Warner Bank thinks the really good stuff pays interest. The John Warner Bank calls it the good life, a no minimum balance interest-bearing checking account that includes a no-fee Easy Answer card, a no-fee MasterCard or Visa, no-cost traveler's checks, money orders or drafts, a premium interest rate savings account, 400 personalized checks per year, plus much more. It's the Good Life account at the John Warner Bank, and it's waiting for you. The John Warner Bank, member FDIC.
Well, leading into this game on the road, Chuck, 3 straight home games, and it seems like the crowds just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And last night, just another tremendous crowd and a very supportive crowd again last night.
I'll tell you what, I personally, and I know the guys are too, and the other coaches, were so impressed with the support that we get and the whole attitude of there's a lot of people that I encourage you to come out to high school and see what's going on. The attitude is much different this year. We've had 2 pep assemblies in 3 weeks, and they've been great, and that goes to the cheerleaders and the pom-poms and the flag corps and the band. And last night, one of the things that I've always believed in my heart, and maybe that's why I'm still around athletics, is after the ball game was over, I was watching, and the student body was high-fiving all our kids coming off. I mean, I think everybody in town can walk around, not because the football team won. They've got something to be proud of, and everybody's a part of it. Everybody owns a part of this program. I said that since day one. Mm-hmm. And the greatest thing that comes out of any extracurricular, co-curricular, whatever, is the fact that it makes somebody feel better about themselves somehow.
Yeah, I understand they had a little tailgate activity going on before the game, and I guess they're going to try to do the same thing next week before the Monticello game over there at their school. So, you know, people are getting enthused and doing some special things and really getting into it. That's great.
Just a great community. Just a great community. And, you know, when we as a staff started this job 2 years ago, my main goal was just to try to make everybody feel like they're a part of it, and that's the part that makes me feel the best.
Well, let's see. Monticello won last night. That's their first victory in a couple of seasons. They didn't win it all last year, but they won their first game this year. Last night over Argenta-Oriana, 18-0. It sounds like they're improving.
Yeah, they have been improving. They opened up against Unity and kind of a big loss on 26-0, but they turned the ball over 7 times. And then last week they played St. Joe and lost by 2 points and made a last-ditch effort, comeback type thing. And now they shut out Argenta. That's not a bad ball club. So, you know, one of our jobs this week is to make sure, like every other week, what has happened is in the past, and we're 0-0, and we got to respect every opponent we play.
Well, do you know much about their team, their individuals? I mean, what are we going to have to watch for out of them?
Well, I don't have the scouting report in front of me right here, but I do know that their fullback, I think it's Shelmadine, I can't remember his name, but
sounds like it. Yeah.
Him or the tailback, one of the two did not play last year, and they're playing this year consequently. And I think that with every week that goes by, a team like Monticello, who's rich in tradition, gets a little bit better, and I'm sure they believe in themselves. And you know, we're sitting in a position right now. I really feel like we've been the underdog the last 3 weeks, and I don't know how it'll come out this week, but we'll see how we handle it. You know, they've got nothing to lose now. They come into a ball game 1-2. They can better their record, go to 500, which hasn't happened in a while. And what we got to do is just basically realize it's a conference game and take care of business type thing.
Mm-hmm. Sullivan won non-conference game last night pretty handily over Villa Grove, and I think St. Therese is finally playing their second game of the year today, a homecoming game. So they've been off for a while.
Right.
They're probably itchy to get back to playing some football against somebody.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be Meridian today.
Yeah, right.
Take a loss like that and give them 2 weeks to prepare for you. And Saturday, of course, it's at their place. That's always a big boost for them, as it is for anybody. So that'll be an interesting contest to see how that comes out.
Well, we've had such great crowds at home. I think we're going to enjoy seeing a large number of people make the trip to Monticello next week. I just got a feeling we're going to see a lot of people drive on over there and take in the ball game next Friday.
Well, I can't say it enough, and I hope everybody understands I'm being sincere, that the guys do know they're there, and the guys do appreciate the cheering on and the encouragement. And it's really a great feeling when every so often I look behind me and, you know, you can't find a seat.
Out taking the field. First play from scrimmage. Ryan Schumacher on the interception as he picks off Todd Carlson. This would help set up the first score of the game. As 3 plays later, Ryan Connolly with a 30-yard TD to make it 7-0 Clinton. They win it 27-6 over Argenta Oriana. Now let's go to Arthur as the Purple Riders came to town.
You know,
yard line, almost a 10-yard gain. I think it'll be a little short of a first down. They'll give him closer to 9 yards on the play. Stamps back to pass. Lost it over the middle. Catch is made by Schumacher. He's down to the 10-yard line. Stamps put it right on the money over the Olympia defenders, the linebackers. Looked like they had good coverage, but Schumacher slipped in behind him, and Nate just dumped it over the top with the white jerseys, and Schumacher makes the catch, stumbles backwards toward the goal line, and I think the Maroons have first and goal at the 10 with 1:20 to go. Get the ambulance ready. I think I'm having a heart attack. Out of the I formation. Clock running. Getting close to the minute mark. Shams on an option. Finds a little opening. He's inside the 5. Down close to the goal line. He is stopped just short of the goal line.
Well, the Maroons were penalized before the next play, 5 yards for procedure. The clock was running. There was only 30 seconds left in the game, and the ball was marked at the 6-yard line.
I think the Maroons really need to score on this play. From the 6. Sand. Hands it off. Conley trying to get around the corner. He's got the speed. 5. Touchdown! TD, baby! Ryan Conley. A sweep to the right side. Got around the corner and scores from 6 yards out with 23 seconds remaining in the ballgame to give the Clinton Maroons a 6-point lead.
And with the extra point, the final was Clinton 14, Olympia 7. And you got to keep in mind, that was Joe Spencer's first ball game, and he was just a little bit excited, weren't you, Joe?
Oh, yeah.
That TD baby, I like that. That was a nice touch.
Well, obviously I was excited. But,
I wonder why.
Who couldn't have been with that exciting fourth quarter?
Well, it was a great upset win for the Maroons, but there's going to be, more excitement coming your way as we recap this season. I mean, it's hard to believe that they topped that very first game, but they certainly did. Game 2 brought us Tolona Unity coming to town to Clinton. The Rockets beat Monticello in their opening ball game, and they had some high expectations for the season. They had a new head coach. Unlike the opening game, this one would have plenty of offense and very few dull moments the entire contest. Ryan Conley scored his 3rd touchdown of the year easily in the opening period to give Clinton the lead, but Unity answered a short time later to make it 7-6 in favor of the Maroons. Before the period was over, Clinton struck again, and this time they struck through the air.
4th and goal now from the 7-yard line. Sams is going to roll out left and try to throw. His receiver fell down, so Sams is going to run. He's back up. Schumacher catches a touchdown!
That was a good play by Nate. He had the patience of waiting for his wide receiver to get back up, and that shows his maturity right there. What a good job by Nate Sams.
The 7-yard pass play increased Clinton's lead to 14-6. And early in quarter number 2, that combination struck again.
3rd and 5. Sams dropping back under some pressure. Steps up in the pocket. Has an opening. Fires it downfield. Igins is open. 5. Touchdown!
Once again, another perfect pass.
Oh, it was. Bob Igins has gotten behind his defender, lost him by a good 5 yards. And Nate, you know, it just shows his experience and his cool-headedness at the quarterback spot, because he had a man coming in on him a little bit, although he had a blocker in front to help him out. But there was some pressure from Ryan Rich of Unity coming in from the outside, so he simply stepped up in the pocket and then took aim and led Igins beautifully, and Bob made the catch at the 5-yard line, and, oh, he could just walk into the end zone from there. So it's a 34-yard touchdown pass play for the Maroons, and now the kick by Court is up and good. And with 7 minutes and 44 seconds to go before halftime, Clinton now leads Unity by a score of 21-6.
And at that point, Joe, as I recall, I know I was feeling awfully good about the game at that point. We seemed to be well in control of things, and we're having a pretty easy time putting points on the board.
Yeah, both sides of the ball, the line was controlling Solono, and it really looked like Clinton could pull away from the Rockets, but that wouldn't be the case.
You're right. You know, the tide really changed in favor of Unity. And in the last minute and a half of the second quarter, they scored 2 touchdowns on a couple of pass plays, and they tied the score up at halftime 21-21, and they certainly had the momentum going in their favor when the teams went to the locker room at the half. And then Unity upped their lead midway through the third quarter, as you might recall. They had it up to 28-21, and then they had the ball again, but I think there was a turnover about that time, somewhere in the middle part of the third quarter. And Ryan Conley, fortunately for the Maroons, broke a 59-yard run to bring Clinton back within 1 point at 28-27. That's the way it stayed until 3 minutes left to go in the game.
The 3rd and 8, big play here. Dropping back, rolling down, throwing for the deep right corner for Igins. He makes the catch! Touchdown! Oh my God, what a play! A Maroons lead! A fade pattern to Bobby Igins in the right corner of the end zone. Oh my! What a throw by Nate Sams, and the concentration by Bob Igins. He had a defender in his face the whole way, and it got over the defender's hands. And how did Bob see that one all the way in? I don't know. He caught it in the back right-hand corner of the end zone, and Clinton now leads 33-28. The score comes with 3:03 to go in the ball game. This one isn't over yet.
No, it certainly wasn't over yet at that point. Unity put together a drive of their own. They ran the clock down to 49 seconds left in the ball game when they scored on a 1-yard run by Ryan Reinhardt. And Unity led by 1, 34-33. But once again, the Maroons put together another miracle drive.
Rolling out left, looking downfield, airing it out for Igins on the fly. 40-yard line catch. He is get out of bounds. And he's still in bounds, but they'll stop the clock at the 22-yard line with 25 seconds remaining. 22-yard line, or 23 of Unity. 1st and 10 for the Maroons. Still time. 25 seconds. Quick pass. Here's Hogan Ladder. Will they run it down to the 10? Oh, he's out of bounds. This side the 10. Yes, Larry calls it. I wish it would have gone for the score, but it only took another 6 seconds off the clock. Down to 19 seconds to go in the ball game. The Maroons are inside the 10, down to about the 9, with a 1st and goal at the 9. Sams, drop it back. Wanting to throw. Looking for Schumacher. Left side of the end zone. He caught it! Caught it! Touchdown! Oh, my! What a pass from Nate Sams! I love it! Oh! That's the play of this season.
Yeah, guess who that was? That was my excited color man, Joe Spencer. Joe, why in the world were you so excited, huh?
It was hard to believe that the Maroons could just put 2 back-to-back fourth-quarter wins together like that. I had never seen anything like that in high school football.
What'd you do with your microphone over there? Yeah, it's you're not coming in nearly as good as you were before. Are you joined by? I see a tie over there in that part of the studio now. Who is that over there?
Why, that would be Craig Wax, sports editor of the Clinton Daily Journal.
Oh, the free commercial for Craig. Okay. Hey, you were over at the Illinois game today, right?
Unfortunately so, yes.
What do you mean, unfortunately?
Well, I don't know how many Michigan fans are hanging out around here, but...
Not me, no.
Well, it's
No.
kind of a disappointing display by the old Illini today.
Yeah, Michigan, what, a winner 19-14, is that right?
That's right.
Well, we won't talk about that. Let's just stick to Clinton, Maroa, and the high school situation. Then we don't need to dwell on the college football this afternoon too much. Anyway, that's the way that Unity game wrapped up. The Maroons pulled that one out. See, I got off track here when Craig walked into the studio. Maroons pulled that one off, winning at 40-34 in that pass play from Sams to Schumacher. And obviously, that was a big confidence booster for this young team, whose record then went to 2-0 with that victory. Let's talk about Game 3 a little bit now. Game 3 started the conference schedule with a home game against Warrensburg-Latham. A huge crowd was on hand waiting to see more of that maroon magic that had been displayed at the ends of games number 1 and number 2. This would be an entirely different kind of ball game, though. The Maroons scored early and often. As a matter of fact, 4 touchdowns in the first period and 2 more touchdowns in the second period, while building up a 42-6 halftime lead. The offense obviously did well, but the defense scored the first touchdown of the ball game.
Here's the snap. Hammerschmidt bounced into his man out of the backfield. Now throws it downfield, and it's intercepted. He may go all the way. Down to the 10, 5, touchdown, Maroon Schumacher. Ryan Schumacher anticipated the pass, made the interception at the 30-yard line, and Ryan was off to the races. He got tripped up right before he got to the goal line, but fell into the end zone. And the Maroons are on the board first in this ball game. They lead 6-0.
And then a short time later, it was Nate Sam's turn.
So here's the option. Stamps is in the clear. He's across midfield. 45. He may outrun a ball. He's all the way at 30. He's running away. And the Maroons have their second touchdown of the game. A 54-yard touchdown run for Nate Sam. And just like that, the Maroons are up by 2 touchdowns.
Then Ryan Conley went 73 yards for a score. Sam's got another score on a 2-yard run. And it was 28-0 Clinton at the end of the first quarter. The Maroons struggled for, well, wait a second. Somebody shuffled my papers. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I knew this was going to happen. And now I have no idea where I am. Now, how in the world did that happen? Did Wax sneak over here and do that to me? How did that happen, guys?
That was me, Larry. I'm sorry.
You know, I knew I should have pre-recorded this program. But anyway, we're midway through the Warrensburg-Latham highlights, and maybe we'll have more in a little bit. But I got to straighten out my notes. In the meantime, we're about 22 minutes past 8 o'clock, and the situation is this. We're awaiting the information from the IHSA and who the Maroons and the Moreau Forsyth Trojans will be paired up with. Last year, that information came in somewhere between 8:30 and 9 o'clock, so we're expecting that information to come in maybe around the same time or so. So stay with us. We'll come back with more in just a moment.
Cars Auto Sales in Clinton has those hard-to-find cars you've been looking for. That's right. If you've been hunting all over for just the right performance vehicle, hot rod, or muscle car, your search is over. Stop by Cars Auto Sales in Clinton to find exactly what you want, even if it's an antique or a specialty car. And price never the way of closing a deal at Cars Auto Sales, 321 East Van Buren at Route 54 in Clinton.
Do you really know what the color of your car is? Claude's Car Care can help you rediscover the original color of your car. Claude will completely detail your car, washing, waxing, buffing, cleaning the tires and wheels, door jambs, air vents, windows, and dash, and shampooing the seats and carpets and vacuuming. Claude has 14 years of experience and offers a free pickup and delivery, and Claude's Car Care special is a wash and vac for only $10. Call Claude's Car Care today at 935-6711 for an appointment, and bring back the original shine of your car, and Claude's Car Care at 935-6711.
All right, back here in the studios of WHOW Radio, and continuing with right now our highlights of this 1994 football season for the Clinton Maroons. We were recapping Game 3 against Warrensburg-Latham, where the Maroons were leading at the end of the first quarter of play by a score of 28-0. And during the second quarter, the Maroons got a couple of touchdowns, as we mentioned earlier. One of those came on an 85-yard kickoff return by Bob Igems, and a 12-yard pass play, Sams to Schumacher. Clyde Leggett got a chance at fullback in place of injured Jeff Wilson in that ball game, and Leggett made the most of it with this run in the third quarter of play.
It's the third score coming up for Clinton. They're up tight on the line. They get the handoff to Clyde, though, and he's into the clear now in the secondary. Breaks another tackle. Here it is, Joe. Clyde, break a touchdown. Hey, nice call, Joe. 24-yard run. He broke a couple of tackles on that play and then sprung into the clear. Nate Sams got that handoff just in a nick of time.
You see, Leggett rushed for 84 yards in the game, and just at that point of the broadcast, as you recall, Joe, you were just talking about Clyde and predicting some big things for him about that time, and he came through for you right on cue. You recall that?
Yeah, I recall that. Clyde did a nice job filling in for Jeff. He was blocking in, running well, and I just thought since a lot of people had scored in that game, it was justice if he scored as well.
Well, he did, and then a little bit later on, Warrensburg scored a couple of times late in the ball game. The final margin was 48-18 in favor of Clinton. The defense held the Cardinals. Fine running back Kyle Steele, we recall in that ball game, well below his average, while Clinton rushed for some 281 yards in the ball game and totally dominating the Cardinals. So Clinton was off to a 3-0 start, but the middle part of a tough schedule is coming up. And why don't we go to that, since I finally got my notes squared around here. It was a little scary for a moment, Joe. I wish Craig hadn't come in and scared me like that, and I threw my papers all over the place. But I think I've recovered, and I've got them, at least somewhat in the right order. If we get out of order, we'll just grab a different tape and play a highlight from another game. That's what has to happen. Game 4 was the first road game of the season, and probably the most incredible game as far as I was concerned from start to finish of the season. And, well, that's saying a lot. The Sages of Monticello would prove to be a very tough opponent, and most people expected them in that ball game. And that game would, by the way, feature, as you recall, 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns, a fake field goal for a touchdown, 2 hook and ladder plays for touchdowns, a fumble recovery that was picked up and returned for a touchdown. Also, there was a couple of fake punts for first downs, that fake punt formations where we threw for first down plays and set up a couple of touchdowns. And there was an onside kick that worked, and 90 points were scored in that game. The game was in question until the final tackle at the 5-yard line. So hold on to your hats. Let's check the highlights now. Clinton scored first on a quarterback sneak by Sams to give Clinton a 7-0 lead. But that advantage would last only about 12 seconds.
Good long high kick that'll be taken just inside the 10-yard line. And brought up this way by John Attaway. He finds an opening up the middle. He may run away from everybody. Carl Court's giving chase, but Monticello's going to score. 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown Monticello, and they're right back in it.
Early in the second period, Monticello appeared to be ready to try a short field goal, but they pulled a fake and passed for a touchdown. And then a short time later, Nate Sams had the ball knocked loose when he was running with it, and the Sages' Justin Johnson picked up the ball. He ran 38 yards for another score. That put Monticello up by a score of 21-7, and Joe, at that point of the ball game, things weren't looking very good for the Maroons. We were wondering, how in the world are they going to get on the right track?
Yeah, it was kind of surprising and kind of disappointing as well. We thought maybe the Maroons could jump out to a 4-0 start, but this game would be better than at first look.
Well, the Maroons did put a drive together just before halftime. It was capped by a 9-yard run by Connolly. And at halftime, Monticello had the lead, but it was only by a touchdown, as it turned out, by a score of 21-14. Now, the Sages did not let up in the second half. They scored early on a hook and ladder play. But then it was Clinton's turn to return their kickoff of their own.
Deep kick. Items goes all the way back. Now bobbles the ball at the 7-yard line. 10, 15, 20. Has an opening up the middle of the field. He bursts into the clear. Turn on those afterburners. 40, 50. They're chasing him from behind. 40, 30-yard line. Items trying to go all the way. 20, 10, 5. The Maroons have answered. Items, another kickoff return. His second of the year. He runs it back from the 7-yard line. 93 yards. And what a wild ball game we have tonight.
Clinton took a 1-point lead a few minutes later when Sands and Schumacher hooked up again to complete another scoring drive. But what's this? Another kickoff?
Here's the kick by Court. Going to the far sideline. Will it stay in bounds? It does. It's fielded inside the 10. Now the 15, 20-yard line. This guy gave us trouble earlier. He's in the clear once again. And the Maroons aren't going to catch him. Monticello's going to regain the lead. Attaway has taken it all the way again for a touchdown. How in the world did they do that again?
That made the score Monticello 33, Clinton 28. But unbelievable game as it was, 50 seconds later, that is, Clinton tried a trick play of their own.
Square to the left, Schumacher to the right. They throw Schumacher, hook and ladder to Conley. Oh, almost pitched it behind him, but Conley has it. He gets it upfield. 40, 50-yard line. He turns on the afterborders. 40, 30, 25, 10, 5, touchdown! I don't believe this! The Maroons have regained the lead. I'm out of here. I can't take any more of this.
No, really, I did stick around for the rest of the ball game. Clinton led at that point 35-33 over Monticello. But then again, Monticello took control of the lead of the ball game in the fourth quarter. A couple of rushing touchdowns put the Sages ahead 49-35 with only 3 minutes and 36 seconds left. And the game was over, right? The Sages had it won, leading by 14 points with that little of time. But remember, these were the Never Say Die Clinton Maroons. And here's a condensed version of the final minutes of the ball game.
4th and goal from the 5. Sam rolling out right. He's going to run with the football, trying to get to the right corner of the end zone. Somebody comes up, hits him, but he dives in for the score, and it stops the clock with 41 seconds left. And you know the Maroons are going to try an onside kick. Looks like they're setting it up here to the near side, the left side of the field. Ports hasn't had too much practice in game situations with this. He kind of kicked one in that Unity ball game. It will go 10 yards. It bounces up high. The Maroons have a chance of the recovery. It still is on the ground. Hygins has recovered the football. Bob Hygins has recovered the football. He has recovered it at the 46-yard line. That ball took a weird infield hop, so to speak. Let's bring baseball back into things. Right before it went the 10 yards, bounced up high on one of the front line men for Monticello. Then it kicked off a couple of Clinton players in that vicinity. And finally, Hygins scrambles and gets on top of the football. And Clinton has it with 37 seconds left. I can't believe my eyes. We're down to 11 seconds to go. Clinton has a 4th down, so they've got to get at least a 1st down here, but they have only 11 seconds left. What the Maroons need, obviously, but in case you're just tuning in for some reason, they need a touchdown, and then they need to get a 2-point conversion to tie this game at 49 and send us to overtime. Well, we know what these guys have done before. They have scored with less time than this. Not much less, but with less time than this. Can they do it again? They're at the 44, Monticello. Sam, dropping straight back. Setting up, pass time. Fires it downfield. Schumacher trying to get to it. He catches the ball! He's down to the 12-yard line. Do they have any timeouts remaining? The clock stops with 4 seconds left. I don't know if they have any timeouts remaining. Brian Knutson is way out in the field. He's directing traffic. The Maroons at the 12-yard line after Schumacher catches a deflected pass will have time for one more play. They can snap the ball and throw one more time. Can they score the touchdown from the 12? The clock is running. Get the snap off. They do just in time. This is the last play of regulation. Short pass. Wilson going for the goal line. He's going to be stopped at about the 5 or 6-yard line. The Maroons are stopped just a few yards short of pulling this one out, or at least sending it to overtime, and the fans here at Monticello are running on the field.
So time ran out on the Maroons, and Clinton suffered their first loss of the season, 49-41. To Monticello, but it certainly was a most entertaining ball game. And Craig Wack, this is your first year following the Clinton Maroons, and you saw 2 last-second victories in those first 2 ball games, and then that amazing game in Monticello. What were you thinking after you saw that amazing ball game at Monticello?
Well, I knew that they had Clinton had a very good team, and that they'd be in any game that they played. And I just remember some of the plays that happened in that game with Ryan Connolly running back that 60-yard. Hook and ladder with a second-degree concussion, and then at the end of that play not knowing really where he was at the time. So I think that shows the attitude of the team, and that no matter who they played, they'd be ready and be in every game.
You know, that play you're talking about, what I remember about that play most, sitting up in the booth, and it was coming right toward us, and Joe's nodding his head, I think he knows what I'm going to say, is on the pitch, he caught that ball and had it actually pinned, it looked like, to the side or the back side of his helmet for a moment before he was able to pull it down. The pitch was behind him and high, and I just remember thinking, how in the world is he, going to pull that thing down? And then next thing I know, he's running away from everybody. And then we didn't find out till later that he had suffered the concussion in the situation that you just mentioned, Craig. So just knowing that later on and adding it to all these other amazing things that happened in that ball game, even though it turned out to be a loss for the Maroons, it still has to go in my memory banks as one of the most amazing, or maybe the most amazing high school football game that I have ever seen.
No, definitely. I think you agree with me there, Bob, that it's just that I think think Clinton is just, Clinton and Monticello, they're both teams evenly matched, and they always produce very good games.
Yeah. Joe?
Joe.
Oh.
Bob? Joe?
Don't worry about it, Craig.
Are you Bobby Joe, maybe?
I don't know. You have to ask my parents, but it was definitely a great game. Both teams pulled out all the stops, and it was truly a wacky game, Craig. So
there you go. You're even now. It's all All evened up. Well, anyway, at that point, the Maroons then with that first loss, they kind of went into a point of the season where they struggled for a couple of weeks, and it was kind of a struggle to bounce back from that loss against Monticello. Game 5, it was Decatur St. Teresa. They came to town, and they steadily pulled away from the Maroons to win by a final score of 41-14. And then the following week, the Maroons traveled up to Normal. They played at Hancock Stadium at ISU in game number 6. Bloomington Central Catholic jumped all over the Maroons to take a 35-0 halftime lead. But perhaps the season turned around. That might have occurred during the second half of that ball game. Clinton became much more aggressive. They outscored the Saints 19-7 in the second half of that ball game. And even though they lost the game 42-19, I think they had some confidence regained from the way they played in the second half of that ball game. And maybe that spurred them on in preparation for those final 3 ball games of the season. What do you guys think about that?
Well, definitely you could see a big difference. As I think that was the point in the season where the defense really picked up, and it carried over into the Sullivan game the next week. But I think it was just a good job by Clinton. They could have easily given up with the game out of reach, but they just kept going, and I think, as you pointed out, Larry, it gave them confidence going into the next week.
Well, and Craig, you know, that put the Maroons in a position where they could not afford to lose any more ball games, and I think that kind of set the tone, the way they played in the second half of that ball game, and also just the fact they knew they couldn't afford any more losses, and they seemed to get themselves prepared for Sullivan very well then.
Well, it seemed that just the whole tone of the Clinton team all year. They've done well in pressure situations, so their back was against the wall going into those last 3 games, knowing that they needed to win those last 3 games. So the pressure was on them, and they performed in all of those games.
All right, well, one more loss, and the playoffs would have been out of the question, and the Sullivan Redskins were next, and they were off to a great start. We're going to take a commercial break here as we are in our playoff pairings special tonight on WHOW-FM, for lack of a better title for this program. But what we're doing, we're waiting for those pairings to be announced and find out who the Clinton Maroons will be playing and where they'll be playing, and also information on the Maroa Forsyth Trojans and other area teams. We'll come back after this commercial message, and we'll recap those final 3 games of the season, so stay with us. Pairing program. How about that? The is that 3 Ps? Triple P program. We're having a good time tonight. You know, we're kind of relaxed. We're not as uptight as we are when we're in the booth broadcasting the game. Of course, Joe, you're never uptight, are you, Joe, when you're doing the game?
Oh, definitely not. I don't feel any pressure. I just go out there, see my friends playing a ball game, and it's just a cap of the week for me.
You know, actually, I think you look more uptight tonight going into this program than I've seen you before any of the ball games. Was that true? You were kind of pacing about a little bit. Was the unknown of doing this program bothering you a little bit?
No, I was just anticipating who Clinton's going to play. I want to see the playoff game.
Okay, well, you will. Don't worry. We'll make sure that you get a ride there, providing my car doesn't break down on the way. Hey, Betty, thanks for the coffee. I mean, we have service here. Betty's bringing me coffee. But you didn't want that word out, did you? You didn't want people to know that you bring coffee. Craig Weck has joined us in the studios, as we mentioned a little bit ago, the sports editor of the Clinton Daily Journal. And Craig, he hustled back. You ran down there, got the post-game quotes of the U of I game, and then you sped on back over here. You were excited about joining us for this program apparently tonight, huh?
Well, I knew that you guys were doing this, and I'm just as anxious as anybody to see who Clinton's going to play next week, and even Maroa, because I think both teams are pretty exciting, and I hope that maybe the games will be spaced out, that there'll be a Friday-Saturday game, so I'll get to see both of them. I guess I was just expecting the games to be on Saturday, but there's an opportunity that maybe some of the teams will schedule Friday night ball games. Is that what you have heard? Yeah, that's one of the reasons why that they moved the schedule back or up a week, and then to eliminate that Wednesday game. That way they can have a Friday or Saturday game, whichever. Because even if since the pairings are done today, coaches can make their film switches on Sunday, and preparation starts like normally for any other Friday night game. All right, well, we don't know for sure when we're going to get word on the pairings and who the Maroons are going to play and who the Trojans are going to play, but I imagine based upon the way it happened last year, it should be coming in the next 10, 15, 20 minutes or so. Could be longer than that, but it could be that soon, so we better get on with the final 3 games of this season to recap these final few ball games of the season for the Clinton Maroons. And let's see if we can figure out where we left off here. We were talking about the ball game coming up with Sullivan, which was game number 7. It was on the road down there at Sullivan. The Reds came into that ball game with a 5-1 record, and their only loss came just the week before, a 21-20 loss
on the last play of the game to undefeated Watseka. The Redskins appear to be ready to bounce back behind the running of Leaf Walling, their fine running back. The Maroons hope that they could control the ball game and possibly control that elusive running back and hold their opponent to below 20 points for the first time in 4 weeks. The Maroons have given up some large totals in points the previous several ball games. But Walling got Sullivan on the board in the opening period on the opening drive of the ball game. The Redskins missed the extra point, though, and then the Clinton defense settled down, and the score remained 6-0 until, well, pretty late in that first half of play when Clinton finally put together a drive of their own. They used that 2-minute offense that has worked so well, and they took the lead just before halftime, and they did it on this particular play.
They're up to the line in a hurry on 3rd and goal for the 6. Stamps wants the pass. Of course, they called a couple of plays. That's the play. He's going to try to throw it to Schumacher. Leads him nicely. Schumacher makes the catch. The Maroons have tied the ball game.
With that touchdown, Clinton led 7-6 at halftime, and the score remained that way until very late in the contest. After a short Clinton punt, the Redskins moved in for the go-ahead score. It was a 2-yard run by their star back, Leaf Walling. Sullivan also got a 2-point conversion, and they led 14-7 with only 41 seconds left. And Betty listened to the tape, and she pointed out to me my tone of my voice. She could tell it, and I have to admit, Joe, you and I, we were pretty concerned at that point. We thought maybe the ball game was out of the reach of the Maroons. They trailed by 7. They had scored only 7 points in the entire ball game, and they were down to 41 seconds left. And I'm sorry, I hate to admit it, but I really wondered if they could pull it out. How about you?
Yeah, despite what they had shown us in those first 2 games in at Monticello, it was kind of hard to believe that they could do it yet again.
But somehow they did. Why don't you just sit back, listen, and remember, this is a high school football team. This isn't a college. This isn't a pro team. This is a high school football team. But this is a big league drive, we should say, starting with the kickoff.
Well, the Maroons had the miracle against Unity, but they've got even less time to work with this time against Sullivan. Into a wind, a short kick, fielded by Conley. Bobble picked up at the 9. Let's hope he can break it. Trying to bring it up the middle, still on his feet. Knocked back about the 25. Ball comes loose. I thought I heard a whistle, and I think the ball will be down near the 25-yard line. Clinton will have about 33 seconds to go from the 24-yard line in Clinton territory to try to score a touchdown here and have a chance at this thing. They want to throw on 1st down. Stands over the middle. He's got it to Conley. Got the blocking out front as they're in a prevent. He's to about the 40-yard line. Puts his head down and goes out of bounds near the 45 and stops the clock with 20 seconds remaining in the ball game. Stamps is up to the line of scrimmage now. The timeout has elapsed. He wants to throw, obviously. Looking deep. Gets it downfield. Conley over the middle. He's at the 35 of Sullivan. The Maroons will have to use a timeout if he's ever tackled. He's still on his feet now. Stripped at the 21-yard line. And 9.9 seconds remaining. The Maroons are at the 21. 9.9 seconds on the clock. Stamps back to pass. Looking. Taking a lot of time. Could be the last play of the ball game. He shoots it deep for the end zone for Schumacher. Battle for the ball. He caught it! Touchdown! Touchdown! Schumacher took it away from him, and the Maroons are within 1 point. They got a shot. They're within 1 point. It's 14-13. And Clinton now with the extra point attempt coming up with 1.6 seconds remaining. The Cardiac kids have done it again, and they'll use a timeout to set up the extra point attempt. I can't believe it. It stands to Schumacher again. All right, this is for the win. The Maroons are not going to kick for the extra point to tie. They are going to go for 2 to try to win the ball game. The clock, of course, means nothing. The clock will not run on the extra point attempt. From the 3, can the Maroons win, or will they lose on this play? He wants to throw. Short man. Wilson's got it. He's in there. He's in there. He got it. Pass to Wilson out of the backfield, and Wilson had open running room into the end zone. Now all we have to do is run out the final 1.6 seconds in the ball game, and the Maroons another amazing win.
Yeah, and time ran out on Sullivan, and Clinton was back in the playoff hunt with the exciting come-from-behind 15-14 win. The Maroons were now 4-3 with 2 games left on the schedule, and after the game, when we had a chance to talk with head coach Chuck Nagel, he credited the ball team with convincing him to go for that 2-point conversion. As we look back on it now, at the time we were giving him credit and saying what a gutsy call by the coaching staff. And he said the players had that look in their eye. They knew they could get it, and they convinced them to go for the 2, right?
Yeah, the players they had shown it all season that they wouldn't give up, and they wanted to win the ball game at that point. So Coach Nagel made, I think, the right call in going for the two-point conversion, and it was set up nicely by what I like to call Nate's McDonald commercial play, where he went across his body, across the field, against the wind, nothing but Schumacher.
Nothing but Schumacher. All right. All right, well, guess what? Let me see if we got him patched in here. Chuck, you on the phone?
I could barely hear you, Larry, down here.
All right, I'll try to speak up a little bit more for you here.
Okay.
But we've got Chuck Nagel on the telephone line, and we were in the middle of reviewing the season, but we're glad to interrupt things if you've got some news for us. Have you heard the pairing?
Yeah, we're going to open up at Muhammad Seymour.
Oh, goody. How do you feel about that, Coach?
Well, I feel great. You know, I feel fine with it. Muhammad obviously is a good ball club, but you know, after last year, the pairing was Robinson, and we all sat back and we were concerned about it, but we went out and played a great ball game and had you know, they were lucky to get out of there with a win. I'm excited about it. I think it's a great opportunity for us.
Well, obviously it's not a very long road trip for us then, so that'll be nice.
Right.
I'm sure the details still will have to be worked out and exactly when the game will be played and that type of information, right?
Right.
Do you have a time in mind when you'd like to see the game take place?
Well, we got to play. We got to play on Saturday between 1. The game's got to start between 1 and 7 o'clock, and if the two teams can't agree upon time, then it goes to the home team decide. So basically, an agreement will be reached based on what they want to do.
Okay.
And I haven't got a hold of Coach Schallenberger yet. I called you guys first, but
I appreciate that.
you know, I'm looking for an afternoon game. We'll see what they want to do.
Can you tell us any more about the bracket pairing? Are we in with other schools right here in Central Illinois, or are we in with some schools from the South, or do you know that information?
Yeah, it's really weird this year. We're one of the Southern teams, but the cutoff for 3A was 905. So teams like Canton are in 3A.
Wow.
Teams like Bethalto Civic Memorial, that St. Pete played, are 3A.
Yeah.
I'm looking down the bracket right now. There's some huge teams in 3A. Evergreen Park is in 3A. Pontiac is in